Planning to appear for UPSC CSE but confused about where to start? Look no further. Vision IS Delhi presents the GS Foundation Course 2025, 2026 and 2027. Avail centralized access to learning with classroom and online resources. Study material that is expert researched and thoroughly analyzed basis the UPSC exam pattern. Personal and individualized guidance every step of the way to cater to your technical and specific needs. Explore the holistic learning modules we have designed for the UPSC CSE aspirant. Batch starts 20th December, 5 p.m. and 17th November, 9 a.m. Offline come live online classes. With the right ingredients, success is yours to have. Enroll today in the Vision IS GS Foundation Course 2025, 2026 and 2027.
Good evening, everyone. So, my name is Rajesh Govindraj. So, I'm a faculty of Geography and Environment here at Vision IS. So, many of you are from outside. Many of you have already given prelims. How many of you have given prelims already? Okay, good. So, any of you have cleared prelims and appeared for mains? Okay, fine. So the main purpose of this open session is to analyze the last 7 years of prelims questions from geography. Okay, this session will be conducted in 2 parts. This today is the first part, so there will be also second part in the next few days. And in these 2 sessions, we'll be discussing all the questions which have been asked in geography in last 7 years, and more than that, the analysis part. Okay, so what is the overall nature of questions? What is the type of the sections from where the questions have been consecutively asked, and what is the difficulty level, whether it is conceptual or factual, or what kind of sources should be referred, or whatever the sources which you are studying, is it sufficient or not. So all of this, we are going to go through that, and based on this, we'll try to see whether we can predict the unpredictable examination. Okay, so the hope तो वही है, जैसे trend पे आया है, तो based on that we should be able to come to some conclusion. And of course we are not going to restrict our preparation to only this kind of trend. Okay, तो इस साल ऐसे आए हैं, ऐसे पढ़ो, ऐसे नहीं है. तो basically UPSC के अंदर कैसे सारा trends आ सकते हैं, सारा निकाल के तो पढ़ लेंगे, तो वही idea है. Okay, so to analyze and come to a conclusion in what direction we exactly have to prepare. And if there is any issue in your already going preparation, so to correct that. Okay? So let's begin with this part, the geography analysis. So in fact, while going through these questions, I myself was surprised to know few new things, and I'll be sharing all my views on this and trends. And in fact, in the second session, there's going to be some bonus for whoever is going to see or attend. So I'll also be discussing few other questions which are not from geography, but can be answered with the help of geography, or how geography can be used to, like, study those parts. Okay, particularly the mapping part. Okay, so there are a few questions from international relations, environment, and in fact some questions in art and culture also. Okay, so location based. So I'll discuss that in the second part. Okay, so some geography help, how we can use it to answer those. So while going through these questions, I've made a note of these, all these geography related questions, geography questions which have been asked in the last 7 years. And I have found a total of 91 questions in the last 7 years. And I have divided into different sections, and section wise we are going to discuss here. Fine. And within the each section, whatever the overall, like starting from 2017 till 2023, we will go in a sequential order, so that you will get to know exactly how exactly the trend has changed. Okay, within each and every section particularly. So let's begin with this. So let's start with the syllabus part, just to be sure and clear about what exactly is this syllabus. So this is the screenshot of the prelims, and from the UPSC notification you can clearly see this the prelims, which is considered to be the paper 1 of general studies 1, which is paper 1 of prelims examination. The second paper being the CSAT, which is commonly referred to as the CSAT, that is Civil Services Aptitude Test. And the overall duration of the paper is 2 hours, and overall the marks is 200 marks. And these are the subjects which have been given in the syllabus, and one of the subject is geography. And if you can read the highlighted part, you can clearly see that this is the overall geography part. The subject's name is Indian and World Geography. Okay, the name of the subject is Indian and World Geography. And it has 3 parts. One is physical, second is social, third one is economic. Okay, so 3 parts to it: the physical geography, social geography, economic geography. These 3 parts we are going to see from the context of both India as well as world. Fine, this is the overall subject. And otherwise it is not given in detailed manner what are the topics to be studied, okay, what are the areas, subtopics, okay, should we do mapping or not. Nothing has been given in the syllabus. Okay, so on what basis we have come to conclusion that we have to go through all those subtopics? Based on these previous papers only. Okay, so not only these 7 years, from the last 10, 15 years, 20 years we have analyzed and we have gone through this, and based on that we have come to this overall sub classification of syllabus. And if we do that, so these are the areas which we will find. Okay, so वहाँ पर क्या दिया था? The physical, social and economic geography. What do you mean by physical geography? The physical aspects of the earth. Okay, the landforms, climate, oceans, the biogeography, all of these physical aspects. What do you mean by social geography? population, then settlements, tribes, okay, culture, cultural aspects, all of these are there, right? That is social geography. Economic geography, industries, transportation, agriculture, resources, right? Or vegetation. Population comes under social geography. Okay? Together, the social and economic geography is part of human geography. Okay, so together, the economic and the social, together, this is what is called as human geography. So this is overall syllabus, how exactly it says. But based on the analysis of the previous the question papers which has come in UPSC, both prelims as well as mains, we can come to conclusion that this is how we have to study overall the parts which should be studied. The first part we can say is the physical geography of world, where we study the physical aspects from the world's perspective. Okay, overall from the world's perspective, not restricted to India. Then we'll apply the same thing in India. That is what is physical geography of India. The third part is economic geography, very social geography. So why did we not include social geography here? Because based on the last 15 years, 20 years of the pattern, there has not been many questions on social geography. There are 1 or 2 questions only. So even in our analysis also we have found 1 question, and that too you don't have to read specifically thoroughly the social geography part. So based on the current related issues you can answer this. Okay, so in UPSC it is very clear, particularly in geography part. So even though it is mentioned in the syllabus, the social geography, the questions are usually not asked. Okay, because you know the traditional part of geography studies this part from the very theoretical aspect. Okay, very different theories related to that, and that is not a general perspective, and this is general studies, right? So you will study about that in detail in more optional perspective, right? So other than the current related perspectives, you will find in the respective subjects. I told you the culture related हो गया, वो art and culture में पढ़ेंगे. Okay, even though it is related to geography, we will not study a specific part of geography here. We don't need that. However, I have just included as a small topic as a part of this economic geography. Okay, the population aspect and the social aspects, very limited. There is only 1 question in this. So for the sake of to make the things easier, so I have divided this entire the syllabus of prelims geography into 3 parts: the physical geography of world, physical geography of India, and then the economic geography. Here you will be studying from the both worlds as well as India's perspective. Fine. You will study from both worlds as well as in India's perspective, because this is more about the factual part and the current related part, so which is applicable for both. The physical geography, we can divide this into different units. The first unit being the Earth, solar system, and the universe, where you will have to study about the basic ideas like latitude, longitude, rotation, revolution, seasons, daylight saving time, and as well as the solar system, the planets of solar system, and then the different bodies inside the solar system, and most importantly, origin and evolution of Earth, right? And origin and evolution of solar system, and then coming to the universe, the origin of universe, the evolution of stars, types of stars, galaxies, the basic aspects which we can put it here. So that is the first unit. Okay, so from geography's perspective, you don't have to go in detail here. So current related aspects you will study from science and technology perspective. So I have not put those questions which are current related here. But there are few basic questions which you can answer from here. जो NCERT 6th standard NCERT में दिया है और GC Leong first chapter में दिया है, उसको बेस करके हम एक chapter यहाँ पर note कर सकते हैं. The second part would be geomorphology. This is like the proper core part of the physical geography, where you will study about the landforms, the various different physical aspects like the plate tectonics, continental drift, the seafloor spreading, the volcanism, earthquake, tsunami, and the various different types of landforms. All of this comes under geomorphology. The third part is climatology, where you will study about the climatic conditions of the atmosphere and all the various different weather phenomena happening inside the Earth's atmosphere, starting from the pressure, winds, the circulations, and the humidity, cloud formation, precipitation, cyclones, all of these aspects you will study here. And this is, as long as you are studying as part of the world geography, this is going to be a general perspective, not from India's perspective. Okay? And then the fourth part is oceanography. Here you will study about the characteristics of the world's oceans and the various different processes which are happening, including waves, tides, coral reefs, and most importantly, El Nino, La Nina, ocean currents. Okay, जिसके ऊपर actually questions आते हैं, both prelims as well as mains, that is oceanography. The fifth part is biogeography, where you will have to study about the soils of the world, the various processes which are actually responsible for the formation of soils. You know, this part is actually linked to our environment. If you are thorough with the basic process which are happening inside the soil and the different types of soils, and based on the soils you will be able to conclude about the type of vegetation, based on the type of vegetation, the type of ecosystems, right? So this is related to environment. And there's one important part in this physical aspect, the mapping of world. Okay, the world mapping we can say. So this is specifically for prelims purpose only I have included here. So whatever you are going to study as the theoretical aspects here, so from the mapping point of view you have to repeat that, and in addition to that the current related mappings. Okay, so that is totally one section is there. So when it comes to the respective section, I'll tell you how to approach that. So this is the world physical geography. So talking about the Indian physical geography, I have given total 5 parts here. The first one is physiography. Physiography includes all the physical features of India. Okay, starting from the mountains, plateaus, plains. Okay, so that includes the topics related to the formation of Himalayas and the different ranges within Himalayas. Okay, Trans Himalaya, Great Himalaya, Middle Himalaya, Shivaliks, and the important peaks, passes, glaciers, all of this, the various different features, that is coming under physiography. Okay, and then plateaus, plains, okay, the difference between the western coastal plain, eastern coastal plains, western Ghats, eastern Ghats, the characteristics part. Okay, that is physiography. Drainage system basically talks about the rivers of India. Okay, all the different rivers of India, their origin to the tributaries, and what are the states through which they pass, and overall nature, the difference between the Himalayan drainage, peninsular drainage, the different drainage pattern, dendritic pattern, rectangular pattern. So you're able to get it, all these things. So that is all coming under drainage pattern, and most important part here is the lakes and wetlands. Okay, the important lakes and wetlands including reservoirs of India, you have to study this under this part. Okay, and the climate of India. So here it is, the topic is mainly mains oriented. In the last 7 years, I have not found a single question in climate of India, because you know the questions come on the climatology in general perspective, not specific to climate of India. Okay, but however here you will study about the formation of Indian monsoon and the overall climatic conditions of India and their characteristics, right? So that is climate of India. We can expect some prelims related questions also, we cannot totally neglect here. And talking about the Indian soils, the different types of Indian soils and their characteristics, right? That is Indian soils and the mapping part. So how do we differentiate this mapping part from this here? Because many things you can cover through mapping only. Okay, so here I have kept the overall criteria for separation is what you can study from atlas, we can put it in mapping. What you find from the textbook, we'll put it here. Okay, if you find something mountains, plateaus directly in atlas, we don't have to put it as part of physiography, rather we can directly put it here. Rather than that, if they're talking about some characteristics of the mountains, okay, which you have to read and understand, we can put it here. Okay, that is a simple criteria. So that is physical geography of India. So coming to the economic geography of India, so we have natural resources. Natural resources includes all the types of resources which we find both in India as well as world. Starting from the most important resource, what is the most important resource? What is the most important resource? Water resource. No, it is the same water resource. I don't know if you guys have noticed, usually both in prelims as well as mains, there will be at least one question related to water resource. In mains as well as prelims. In prelims also. Okay, I am not talking in the context of environment. Water pollution ke context mein nahi. I am talking about the water resource as such, the resource utility. and natural resource is a direct part of geography, directly geography में दिया है. Okay, that includes the water resource, mineral resource, energy resource. Okay, so all the resources which we can extract both from world as well as India, that is natural resources part. Natural vegetation, even though this is considered to be resource, I have just kept it separately to understand the overall weightage of this part and the nature of this. Okay, natural vegetation, types of natural vegetation, both India as well as world. So then comes agriculture. Agriculture is one area which is overlapping between three subjects: geography, environment, economics. Okay, तीनों में overlap होता है. So in environment, it mainly talks about the issues of agriculture, sustainability of agriculture, the practices. In geography, we mainly talks about it mainly talks about the conditions of cropping, cropping pattern, cropping condition, distribution, all of these aspects. And in economics, it's mainly about the market. Okay, agricultural market and the government policies related to that. Okay, so but however, it is very difficult to put a strict division between them. Many of the times there will be overlapping. I have tried to put only those questions which are related to geography here. So let's see that there. Industries and transportation, and here the main important industries of India as well as the world's. So there have not been any question on the world industries as such. It's about the Indian industry only. And talking about the transportation, we will be covering the topics related to the roadways, highways, and the railways as well as the shipping ports. And so if there is anything new projects which are coming up, the current related aspects. Okay, that is industries and transportation. Population and social aspect. The population, the terms, basic terms related to population, the migration, population pyramid, and a few basic theories related to population, and then the settlements, and importantly tribes of India. Okay, so remember we have to study the tribes of India at the India level only. We don't have to read the tribes of the world as such. Okay, so that has never been asked. Okay, at the India level, there are a few basic things which you have to go through, so that I'll tell you. So this is the overview of entire geography based on the previous questions, and of course I told you the social aspect which is specifically mentioned, it will not carry much of weightage here in this, the prelims part as well as in the mains part. So as many of you have already given the exam, you would have noticed that in the last few years, the importance for economic geography has been increasing, and that too it has become more current oriented, right? So let's see that. The first thing we have to notice from this previous analysis is the overall weightage in every year. Okay, so overall the number of questions which have been asked in geography in each year of the last 7 years. So I have made a graph out of this, you can see. So I told you total of 91 questions I have found, and in the last 7 years, so the last 2 years have been bumper year for geography. So whoever had thoroughly prepared and whoever had been lucky, so they would have got good attempts and good reward also here. So the number of questions have been high in the last 2 years, and if you include at least 15 to 20, okay, at least 15 to 20 questions of environment. I will not put environment here. If you put at least 15 to 20 questions to aaye hain, so you can see that geography and environment contribute more than 1/3 of the entire syllabus. Okay, so more than 1/3 of the entire syllabus is contributed by geography and environment. Both are interrelated subjects, and if you show some interest, it is very interesting and easy also. Okay, and before that, the overall average has been around 10 per year, and in the last few years, the trend has changed. And if you go back, let me just tell you the trend before this. If you see the papers from 2011, 12, 13, 14, there were a good number of questions from geography. Okay, the weightage has been nearly 15. Then from 2015, 16, the weightage has decreased. Then it came to average of 10. Again, it has crossed 15, 15 to 20, it has come now. And you can clearly see that usually UPSC, if at all it's changing a pattern, it will follow for at least 4-5 years. Okay, so from 11 to 15 there was one pattern, then 15 to 20, 21 तक एक और weightage दिया था. अभी शुरू हुआ है 2022 there were 18 questions and 2023 there were 21 questions. So let's hope for more questions in the coming year also from geography section. ठीक है, and yeah, this is the overall weightage you can see. Good that it has increased. So this is the number of questions. This is the division of these different sections which we have just discussed. So the total 91 questions I have divided into the respective sections here. Okay, same thing which I explained earlier. This is the physical geography of world, physical geography of India, and then economic geography. Okay, so of all the things, of all the units which we have discussed, only the climate of India had no question. Otherwise, all the sections have good number of questions. I know it is difficult to interpret in this. Okay, so that's why I've also prepared some pie charts for your ease of understanding. Okay, so first let's see the three major sections out of geography. What is the overall weightage? And you can see that it's almost equal. Around 40% of the questions are from the physical geography of world. Around 30% and 30%, approximately I can put. ठीक है? So मतलब ऐसे भी नहीं है कि हमने एक सेक्शन छोड़ सकते हैं, तो if you just skip one section चल जाएगा, ऐसे तो बिल्कुल नहीं है. You have to cover all the three, and you can clearly see that there is no social geography वाला part. Okay, तो अभी तो थोड़ा बहुत भरोसा आया होगा मेरे बात में. ठीक है? So this is the economic geography, physical geography, and physical geography of India. Physical geography of world, physical geography of India, and then economic geography. Almost equally divided. The overall last 7 years of questions. In this, let's go section wise, one by one, and let's see in which section, which is the most important, most profitable कौन सा है, वहाँ पर ज़्यादा focus कर सकते हैं. So we have the physical geography of the world, physical geography of India, and then the economic geography, जो respective parts हमने select किया है. So I hope you guys remember that. So if you remember the basic idea, basic structure, then only you'll be able to understand these maps, these graphs. The physical geography of world. So I told you the basic parts included the Earth, solar system and universe, geomorphology, climatology, oceanography, biogeography, and the world mapping. Okay, from this you can clearly see that more than 50% of the questions are from world mapping part. 55% of all the questions have come from world mapping part in the entire physical geography of the world. So rest of all of this, the Earth, solar system and universe, geomorphology, climatology, oceanography, biogeography, सारा मिला के around 45% का है. हम जितना मेहनत करते हैं इसको पढ़ने में, तो इससे बेटर है कि मैपिंग कर लेते हैं. ऐसा नहीं है, तो इसको याद रखने के लिए ये भी तो चाहिए. एंड इसी का डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन कम हो सकता है, बट यही हम अप्लाई करेंगे इंडियन फिजिकल जियोग्राफी में एज वेल एज इन इकोनॉमिक जियोग्राफी. विदाउट दिस यू कैन नॉट स्टडी दैट, एंड मोर इम्पॉर्टेंटली मेंस में तो चाहिए 100-120 मार्क्स के लिए. ओके, तो वहाँ पर तो मैपिंग का वेटेज कम है ना, तो देर यू विल जस्ट यूज इट फॉर एग्जाम्पल्स. ठीक है. So overall, the mapping section of the world geography is carrying a very high weightage. And what is the nature of this, the mapping part from the world physical geography? So what kind of questions you remember? What is the sections? मतलब कौन सी places, कौन सी location के ऊपर क्वेश्चन आते हैं, बता सकते हैं? States, then places in news, most importantly. Okay, places and locations in news. ठीक है, then lakes, important area, lakes, and then same latitude वो इंडिया में आता है. ठीक है. सो वर्ल्ड लेवल में बहुत पहले एक बार आया था ट्रॉपिक ऑफ कैप्रिकॉन, कौन सी कंट्री के थ्रू पास होते हैं, वही एक क्वेश्चन था. तो अदरवाइज अदर देन दैट disputed areas, basically the areas which are in use. So overall the world location questions are of two types. One is the static part, another one is current part. Okay, the locations which are important from the physical geography aspects. Okay, the rivers, the mountains, and then the lakes, and the important oceans, important seas. Okay, and their bordering countries. ये important है from the static point of view. Otherwise most of it is related to current affairs. The locations in news. For some or the other reason it would be in news and you have to follow that. Most important exercise है. एंड डोंट टेक इट एट समथिंग लाइक फैक्चुअल पार्ट, तो ये एक लिस्ट दे दो मैं याद रखूँगा फिर जाके वहाँ पर मार्क कर दूंगा, वो बिल्कुल नहीं होता है. ओके, दैट इज़ नॉट एट ऑल पॉसिबल. ठीक है, फाइन. एंड अदर दैन दिस पार्ट यू कैन सी दैट यूजुअली ओशनोग्राफी तो लोग ज़्यादा पढ़ते नहीं है, एंड वही सबसे ज़्यादा है ओशनोग्राफी एज वेल एज क्लाइमेटोलॉजी. एंड सबसे ज़्यादा मेहनत हम लगाते जियोमॉर्फोलॉजी में, उसमें बहुत कम क्वेश्चंस है, राइट. एंड बायोजियोग्राफी आई टोल्ड यू देयर वाज वन क्वेश्चन, and that is important for your environment part. And usually this is also very much neglected, or you will study as directly as part of the science and technology. Okay, again there the more focus will be on the current related aspect, but there are basic aspects which you have to go through it. Okay, so this also carries a good amount of weightage. Okay. So in the order of this world physical geography, of course the world mapping part is the most important one. Other than that, please give some attention to oceanography and climatology, particularly in the current changing nature of the syllabus, the changing nature of the question paper. Okay, so because you know these topics from oceanography and climatology, they are very conceptual in nature, and they are based on geomorphology only. Okay, they are based on the concepts of geomorphology itself. Without understanding the seafloor spreading, you cannot understand the ocean bottom topography or the different circulations, है ना. तो how exactly they are interrelated, ये सब तो पता होना चाहिए. The ocean's temperature and salinity is also related to the atmosphere's temperature, right? The precipitation pattern, right? Everything is interrelated. एंड यहाँ से क्वेश्चंस आना शुरू हो गया, मतलब जो पहले वाला पैटर्न था फ्रॉम 2011 टू 15, उसमें भी यहाँ से ज़्यादा क्वेश्चंस आ रहा था. दिस इज द मोस्ट कॉन्सेप्चुअल पार्ट. ठीक है, सो दिस इज रिलेटेड टू इंडियन फिजिकल जियोग्राफी, एंड हियर द इंडियन मैपिंग पार्ट has consumed all the space available. You can see nearly 80% of the questions are related to Indian mapping part, and very few part. And climate of India, तो मैंने बताया, तो there was no question at all. And drainage system, every year at least one question will be there. Okay, drainage system, and soils of India and physiography of India. So it is totally overshadowed by this the huge section of India mapping. The reason is very simple, because I told you whatever you can find in Atlas, whatever you can cover in Atlas, I have put everything here. And there are many things which you can use, you can use the NCRTs and GC Leong to answer what is there in the Atlas also. There is a huge overlapping between the mapping part and the actual physical geography of India part. Okay, so for example, if I'm talking about the physical physiography of India, so if at all the question is about the location of Himalayas pass through 5 states or 6 states, so we can put it as both part of the mapping as well as the physiography of India. So whatever you study as mapping is basically the part which you study as the physical geography of India only. There is a huge overlapping. But this shows the overall importance of doing the physical geography of India with the Atlas and mapping part. So if you are not doing that, if you are just reading that, you are totally missing the important hint which UPSC is giving. You have to use Atlas, you have to use the mapping part, without which geography is like totally incomplete, right? Okay. So coming to the last part, economic geography. So you can see that all the different parts carry a good amount of weightage. The natural resources, the highest, it includes the questions on the water resource, mineral resource, and energy resources. Okay, so including the fishing areas, so that all comes under the oceanic resources. I have put it in under water resource only. So all of these are basically the natural resources. There have been good number of questions, and the overall trend is that more on water resources, it's more about the issue based. On mineral and energy resources, it's more about the current affairs, okay, current related aspects. Natural vegetation, again, very much neglected area, so there have been a good number of questions. So to show that only, I have put it separately. Natural vegetation carries a good weightage in the economic geography, and from here you can directly link it with environment. Okay, so बहुत सारे questions environment related connected है, मैं उसको वहाँ यहाँ पर नहीं डाला है. So मतलब in the natural vegetation, I have put those only those questions which are related to the type of trees, type of forest, and the distribution, overall distribution of forest. Okay, so that is about natural vegetation. And agriculture, I have told you already, so it carries a good weightage here. And those which are related to the overall production, distribution of crops. And here also I have observed that the trend is related to the current affairs. Okay, current trend ही क्या है, तो कौन सा crop में increase हुआ है production, कौन सा में decrease हुआ है, which one is the largest exporter. You know, so few basic geography related I have put it here, and there are few overlapping with the economics part there. And there are few questions related to industry and transportation, and as I told you earlier, there was only one question related to the tribes, so that covers the population and social aspect. Okay. So what is the takeaway from this overall sectional analysis? Mapping is the key. Okay, one who has done the mapping part thoroughly, so will be able to handle geography in a better manner. One who has studied only the textbook, the theoretical aspect, so after preparing, after going to the exam, so you would realize तो इतना सारा पढ़ के गया था कुछ भी नहीं आया. Okay, that is the reaction of many of the students last year also. But along with whatever you have studied, if at all you had thoroughly supplemented with the mapping part, so it would have been easier. Okay, so other than the mapping part, anything else? Anything which you have been doing or you have not been doing? Okay, तो अभी देख के लग रहा है कि करना था. Any of the important sections which you have missed, which is usually missed? Any such sections are there? सब कवर कर लिया? Yes, the distribution of natural resources with reference to India. Okay. So let me explain that. Okay, so it will come to that. Anything else? So anything? Any other doubts you want to ask? Okay. So based on this general understanding, so let's see the traditional sources which are usually covered. Are they sufficient or not? What are the traditional sources? Both. They are both. The questions which come in this mapping section, they are related to the basic mapping. Basic mapping means what you read from the atlas, okay, or what you read from the textbook, or the current affairs. It's both. In world, it's the current affairs. In India, it's both. Okay, so in world, particularly the locations in news, they are the ones which are mainly targeted. So now, these traditional sources which are usually covered, okay, we have 11th standard NCERT 2 textbooks. 11th standard part 1 is the fundamentals of physical geography. 11th standard part 2 is the India physical environment. Okay, so these two textbooks are used for physical geography of the world and physical geography of India. There is also the most famous book in geography, that is G.C. Leong, Go Cheng Leong, right? So very small book, very precise, and at the same time very useful also. It covers the physical aspects of the world as well as the economic aspects of the world. दोनों के लिए है, but not from India's perspective. This is a world geography का ही book है. So these three books will do the job. Whatever is given here, and based on this you can expect the questions, and whatever the questions which have come in the theoretical aspects, that can be answered using these three. Okay, so you can stick to this for the physical geography of the world, physical geography of India. Thoroughly read it, thoroughly revise it multiple times. That is definitely going to be helpful. So not only for prelims, even for the mains perspective also. Okay. Here comes the problem. The economic geography. So for economic geography, the traditionally referred textbooks are the 12th standard part 1, fundamentals of human geography, 12th standard part 2, India, people and economy. These two textbooks cover only the basic aspects. Okay, they cover only the basic aspects, and it will not suffice for the economic geography part. Okay, so economic geography के अंदर क्या क्या था? Natural resources, natural vegetation, industries, agriculture, transportation. So it covers just the basic parts. Okay. So here we need some more addition. Some more addition is required. One addition I can suggest is this ICSE syllabus, Total Geography 10th standard. Okay, this book is about the Indian geography. Okay, this entire is about Indian geography. It has two parts, the physical part and economic part. Physical part you don't have to read, you can refer to economic part. It covers the topics of resources, agriculture, industries and transportation. ठीक है? So Indian perspective के लिए ये पढ़ सकते हैं. I'm not suggesting you to skip this, read this, develop a basic idea. After that, cover this total geography. The second part of this total geography, 10th standard, which covers the economic geography topics. Still it is not sufficient. You need to add current affairs here. Okay, you need to add current affairs here because many of the questions are driven by current affairs. Okay, so many of the news items which have inspired these questions. And in addition to current affairs, of course, current affairs includes this, that is economic survey. Okay, economic survey is required for agriculture topic as well as some of the topics of resources. ठीक है, दोनों के लिए चाहिए. The mapping part. So how to cover the mapping part? In today's class, I'll be covering both the world mapping and India mapping questions. Okay, so we'll cover thoroughly. So there you will understand this. So first, let's discuss how to approach the mapping part. So I know all of you have this wall map in your room. World map इंडिया में ऐसे कोई है जिनके रूम में नहीं है? No? अभी तो यहाँ पर दिल्ली में फ्री में देते हैं रूम के साथ में. होना तो चाहिए. ठीक है. So there is a purpose for that. Please start using it. So the idea is, it is very clear that without this mapping part, you cannot completely be thorough with the geography. It is very evident, both the Indian physical as well as the world physical part, and includes the mapping part. And to cover this mapping part, it is traditionally what the students used to do. They will just open a atlas and they will just keep marking. तो मार्क करते रहो, यहाँ पर ये मार्क करो, वहाँ पर वो मार्क करो, तो फिर उसको वैसे बैठ के रट्टा मारो, है ना. तो यही अप्रोच था. या यूजुअली they used to do this 1 week before the exam or 1 month before the exam. They will just sit and mark everything, and they think that they will be able to recollect. That is traditionally the very bad way of doing mapping. In fact, उसी के वजह से लोग geography से डरते थे. Okay, so they used to be so afraid of geography. तो mapping तो इतना मुश्किल है, तो उसके चक्कर में तो geography ठीक से नहीं जा रही, ये सब चीज़ें वो एक image develop कर देता है. And trust me, so those who have done this mapping part thoroughly, they will really start loving the geography subject. Okay, so and that will make you not only see the geography in a easier manner, in a better manner. Not only that, so it also gives a different view about the outside world also. When you travel somewhere, when you go out, you'll start to identify many different locations and associate yourself with that. Okay, so mapping, I would say it is the most interesting part of entire geography. इसको कैसे approach करना है? Whatever the subjects you are going to, whatever the topics you are going to study as part of geography, whether it is geomorphology, climatology, oceanography, biogeography, every topic there would be something related to mapping part. Okay, for example, let's say cyclone का बात कर रहे हैं. Okay, so there will be the topic of in which regions you will find cyclones. Okay, so immediately open the physical map of the world and try to mark it there. ठीक है, यहाँ पर Atlantic Ocean है, यहाँ पर in this near to Caribbean Sea, so you will find the occurrence of the hurricanes. Okay, here it is called as hurricanes. So in Indian Ocean, more towards the northern part as well as in this part, you will have the cyclones. In the South China Sea, what do we call it as? क्या बोलते हैं? Typhoons. Okay, so near to Japan, it is called as typhoon. So like this, different names, you will just mark it, and while doing that, try to picturize the world. Okay, so with that, the overall picture of the map starts to become clear. The picture of the world will start to become clear. So next time something else comes, when you're studying about the desert, so try to mark the important deserts. Okay, and try to see why Sahara Desert is located here only. So there is a cold ocean current here. Okay, so Canary cold ocean current is there. So why Atacama Desert is located here? There is a Humboldt current here. So most of the topics what you study as part of geography is related to mapping only. If you are able to connect that, your geography is also easier and the mapping part also becomes easier. So with this exercise, if you start to do this mapping part, you know that image of the world map and India map becomes very clear. So whenever you hear a new location and something is in news, you don't have to open the atlas. Immediately your mind can go to that picture which is there in your mind and try to imagine, हाँ ठीक है वहाँ पर है. Right? So if at all during the winters, you must have heard about the outbreak of polar vortex which happens in the North America. Okay, you read a news that suddenly temperature has dropped in the plains of North America. So your mind should immediately go towards this part, between the Rockies and Appalachian Mountains, जहाँ पर Great Plains है, which is the wheat belt, जहाँ पर Chinook winds आते हैं, तो वो सारा picturize करना है. That is how you have to study geography. And without this mapping, it becomes totally boring. एक तो समझ भी नहीं आएगा, दूसरा बोरिंग भी हो जाएंगे, तो जियोग्राफी छोड़ ही देंगे हम, है ना. So mapping exercise is something which you have to do it along with the study of the subject. First thing. Second, there would be basic parts of the mapping which you have to cover it. Okay, traditional atlas से जो उठा के या world map से उठा के आपको cover करना है. Okay, for example, Mediterranean Sea. Where is Mediterranean Sea? आपको idea होना चाहिए. And what are the continents around Mediterranean Sea? And what are the important countries around Mediterranean Sea? You may not have to remember all the countries in the order, but important countries जो है वो तो पता होना चाहिए. And particularly those which are in news, definitely have to remember, right? So where is Red Sea? Red Sea यहाँ पर है. उसके सराउंडिंग में कौन कौन सा है? इस साइड में सऊदी अरेबिया है, उस साइड में तो इजिप्ट है ना. तो ये सारा कंट्रीज आपके दिमाग में ऐसे मतलब रजिस्टर होते जाना चाहिए. The important parts of the world, the basic layout. इसके लिए थोड़ा सा एक्सरसाइज आपको बैठ के करना पड़ेगा. You will not find this in any of the textbooks. Okay, for example, what are the countries in Central Asia? What are the countries in Southeast Asia? Okay, so like this, the basic idea, the basic layout of the world, that should be clear. So it will take some time. Okay, थोड़ा बहुत टाइम लगेगा, थोड़ा अच्छे से रिवाइज करके तो वो लेआउट क्लियर हो गया, आपका सेकेंड स्टेप भी क्लियर है. फिर आएगा थर्ड स्टेप. व्हाट इज द थर्ड स्टेप? करंट अफेयर्स. ये सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट स्टेप है, क्योंकि अभी तक जो हुआ है ये बेसिक लेआउट है. जो क्वेश्चंस आने वाले हैं जो करंट रिलेटेड एस्पेक्ट, उसके ऊपर आपको बिठाना है. ऑन दिस बेसिक लेआउट विच यू हैव डेवलप्ड, सो ट्राई टू ऐड दिस करंट लोकेशंस. एनी लोकेशन विच इज इन न्यूज़. ओके, सो यूक्रेन रिलेटेड न्यूज़ में आ गया, सराउंडिंग कंट्रीज ऑफ यूक्रेन कौन कौन सा है, चलो मार्क कर लेते हैं. सो लास्ट ईयर डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन आया था, व्हाट द कंट्री सराउंडिंग यूक्रेन, राइट. वेस्ट एशिया, इतने सारे न्यूज़ रहते हैं, हर साल न्यूज़ में ही रहते हैं. तो बैठ के एक बार वेस्ट एशिया thoroughly मार्क करो, एंड फिर उसके ऊपर आएगा ये लोकेशन था, ये पोर्ट में अटैक हुआ है ना, तो यहाँ पर ये एरिया ऑक्यूपाई हो गया है, गोलन नाइट्स यहाँ पर है, ओके, गाज़ा यहाँ पर है, ये सब न्यूज़ में आएगा ना. सो दैट यू विल बी एबल टू रिकलेक्ट और रिमेंबर ओनली व्हेन यू नो वेयर एग्जैक्टली इज इजराइल लोकेटेड. ओके, वेयर एग्जैक्टली इज इजराइल, तो यहाँ पर इजिप्ट का इतना इंपॉर्टेंस क्यों है? इजिप्ट तो बगल में ही है. They are the neighbor for both the Gaza as well as the Israel part, right? Current affairs, whenever you read a location in current affairs, you have to add this to this part. तो उसको ऐसे कैसे याद रख सकते हैं? How can we remember this current affairs part? You have to start making a note. Without that, it is difficult. The best exercise, keep a separate note for mapping. One atlas, one notes. Okay, छोटा सा book भी काफ़ी है. Okay, so from the atlas, you just have to mark it. Don't write it on the atlas. Atlas के ऊपर लिखो मत, क्योंकि वो लिखना शुरू कर दिया तो पूरा भर जाता है. उसके ऊपर लिखना नहीं, हाईलाइट करना है. ओके, हाईलाइट करना है, नोट्स में एक ऑर्डर में लिखना है. Just have to write in an order in the notes. Okay, so the way I have told you. So you are reading the geography part. So whatever the locations you found in geomorphology, you just add it in a sequential order. Whatever the locations you found in climatology, you add it in a sequential order. Oceanography का ऐसे locations. So जो भी textbook में मिल गया वो सारा एक location add हो गया. Okay, so in the same way एक और second part में add करो. ये basic layout है जो oceans related या seas related and the important countries which are located, वो एक order में बना दो. You can start from Asia, Africa, Europe, North America, South America, and then Oceania, Antarctica, and basic important parts over there. Okay, तो वो हो गया. अभी थर्ड पार्ट करो करंट अफेयर्स. करंट अफेयर्स तो ऐसे सेग्रीगेट नहीं कर सकते, जो डेली बेसिस में देखोगे उसको ही लिस्ट करते जाना. Okay, you just have to list them. List the current affairs news location and just highlight in the atlas. On the atlas you just have to highlight. Don't highlight on the wall map. वॉल मैप के ऊपर हाईलाइट करो, हाईलाइट मत करो, क्योंकि एंड में तो पूरा येलो ही दिखेगा और कुछ नहीं दिखेगा उसमें, है ना, और बहुत सारे लोकेशंस नहीं मिलने वाले हैं. तो व्हाट इज द पर्पस ऑफ दिस वॉल मैप देन? रिविजन, रिकलेक्शन, पिक्चराइजेशन. ओके, व्हेन यू ट्राई टू सी इट ऑन डेली बेसिस, व्हेन यू ट्राई टू रिकलेक्ट, वो दिमाग में बैठता है, उसके लिए है. हमारा मैपिंग होता है अटलस से. यू विल बी डूइंग फ्रॉम द अटलस ओनली. अटलस में हाईलाइट करना है, नोट्स में लिखना है द लोकेशन. What exactly you have to write about this location? Only 2 points, not more than that. The first point, where is it located? Second, why is it in news? इससे ज़्यादा लिखो ही मत. Even if you have that urge, हाँ ये भी important है, ये भी important है, लिखो ही मत. क्योंकि उसी के वजह से है ना, पूरा इतना हम डिटेल में चले जाते हैं, हम डेप्थ में जाएंगे, कवरेज कम कर देंगे. लोकेशन में कवरेज होना चाहिए. लोकेशन में कभी भी ऐसा नहीं होता है कि पढ़ने के बाद में भी ये आंसर नहीं कर पाया. ऐसे यूजुअली होता ही नहीं है. अगर आपको लोकेशन पता है तो वो मार्क हो जाएगा. यू जस्ट हैव टू रिकॉग्नाइज, यू जस्ट हैव टू आइडेंटिफाई, हाँ ये लोकेशन यहाँ पर है. मोस्ट ऑफ द ज्योग्राफी लोकेशंस आर बेस्ड ऑन द आइडेंटिफिकेशन ओनली. कहाँ पर है, क्यों न्यूज़ में, मैक्सिमम. बहुत डिटेल में जाने का जरूरी नहीं है. दैट्स व्हाई आई एम टेलिंग ओनली 2 पॉइंट्स, नॉट मोर देन दैट. द फर्स्ट पॉइंट, वेयर इज इट लोकेटेड. सेकंड पॉइंट, व्हाट इज द इंपॉर्टेंस, व्हाई इट इज इन न्यूज़, व्हाट इज द इंपॉर्टेंस और व्हाई इट इज इन न्यूज़. ऐसे डेली बेसिस में लिस्ट करते जाओ. So that covers your mapping part. ठीक है. एंड ओवरऑल यही जो ओवरऑल ओवरव्यू मैंने दिया था आपको, हाउ टू अप्रोच दिस ज्योग्राफी. So always start with the basic part, develop a conceptual clarity before you remember the facts and information. Okay, so and always add this mapping part. Okay, so and try to see the concepts in the real world. So that makes it very easy for you. Okay, that makes it very easy and interesting for you. And this is actually for mains part. So you have to always use the diagrams and maps. Okay, so prelims में आप लोग maps revise करोगे तो वो mains के लिए काम हो जाएगा. And current affairs तो है ही. This is the basic analysis of geography. So we will be starting with the separate sections. Before that, if you want to ask anything, you can ask. Any doubts? So you ask something. Yes. So coming to the natural resource distribution, based on the previous stand. Okay, the question is how to what extent we have to study the distribution of natural resources, right? So let me answer this from both world as well as India's perspective. From the world's perspective, whatever the natural resources which we are talking about, whether it is minerals or energy resources, okay, so or any kind of जो industrial resource भी हो सकता है. From the world's perspective, you don't have to read the traditional distribution. Okay, you don't have to read the traditional distribution because based on that the questions have not come. Traditional मतलब क्या है? So based on the like overall distribution of iron ore, overall distribution of coal, overall petroleum, okay, overall manganese कहाँ है, copper कहाँ है, bauxite कहाँ है, ये तो list तो never ending है. For mains, you may need the general idea. The general idea of distribution is sufficient. You don't have to remember each and every location from the world's perspective. However, you have to remember the current locations. Okay, so जैसे last year का question आया था, तो about the mining of a particular mineral in some country, it was being done in such a manner that it was causing environmental issue also. Okay, so those are all based on current affairs only. World resource distribution, it is not compulsory that you have to do every list, but you have to go through the important current related locations. Okay, so their distribution you have to see. Whatever the minerals which are in news, particularly in the context of e-mobility. E-mobility के context में, solar के context में जो critical minerals होता है ना, वो कहाँ पर मिल रहे, कहाँ से news है, वो देख लेना एक बार. India के context में, you should have general understanding of this mineral resource distribution. Okay, so you should know the important minerals which are found in India and where they are found. इसके ऊपर questions है. Okay, you may not find good number of questions in the last 7 years, but before that there were there. Okay, so what are the locations of iron, copper, bauxite, manganese, okay, coal, petroleum, shale gas, So these are the important ones which you have to cover. Okay, and mica also. India has a good resource of mica and thorium. Okay, monocytes and thorium. However, what is the depth required? You don't have to remember the mines. You don't have to remember the exact locations. You just have to remember the important states in which these minerals are located. Questions have been asked till now only up to the state level. Not required. Okay, traditional distribution may not required as a conventional part of this mineral distribution. Questions have not come. State-wise questions have come. Whether you find iron in Karnataka, whether you find iron in Rajasthan. Okay, but you don't have to go through Karnataka में कुद्रेमुख में मिल रहा है नहीं मिल रहा है इतना डिटेल में नहीं आया ठीक है. However, those which are in current affairs you have to remember. Okay, those mines, those locations which are in current affairs you have to remember. ठीक है, is that clear? So any other questions? चलो ठीक है. So let's start with the first part, the world map locations. So this is the overview of questions which have been asked in world map locations. Okay, whatever the number of questions which I have given, that is out of 91 questions which have been asked in geography in the last 7 years. Out of 91 questions, 21 questions are directly from world mapping only. Okay, so you can see that this is one of the largest in terms of weightage. In fact, Indian mapping se bhi zyada hai. Indian mapping only 19 questions. Okay, however, few of the questions I have not included related to the rivers. Okay, so overall we can say the world mapping carries a good amount of weightage. Difficulty level I have kept it in terms of moderate to difficult because world mapping में ऐसे easy वाला तो नहीं आता है. Okay, so either you know, so you have heard of it, or you have not heard of it. Okay, if you have heard of it मतलब आप थोड़ा बहुत मेहनत करके किया है तो वो moderate ही होगा, बहुत easy वाला questions नहीं आते हैं. So difficult, there would be definitely few questions that are difficult because they are more of current related only. So in that case, you either you know it or you don't know it. So that makes it difficult. And of course, mapping to factually honge. So most of these are factuals only. And the trend is those which are currently in news. Most of the majority of the questions are currently in news. But there have been few questions which are, even though they are not in news, you have to know as a wala type. Okay. So let's go through all these world map related questions one by one. So let's take this first question. So I will come to this part. So this question was asked in 2017. You can see the Mediterranean Sea is the border of which of the following countries? So Mediterranean Sea, so this is from the context of the West Asia only. Okay, West Asia is one part which is most important, जिसके ऊपर multiple questions आ चुका है. And in fact, this is almost a repetition of already asked question. Okay, 2014 or 15 में almost same question आया था. So basically around this region कौन सा countries है Mediterranean Sea का and West Asia का part में. Okay, so we have four countries which have been asked here: Jordan, Iraq, Lebanon, and Syria. Okay, so can you try to answer this? So what is the answer for this? Let's see. See, the idea of this analysis is, so of course we'll go through the question and also try to give some special attention to the options. Many of the times it has happened that from the options and new questions have been framed. Okay, from the options which are given in the question, and new questions would have been framed. Okay, so with that intention, let's try to explore this this question. So what are the countries जिसका बात हुआ था? So Jordan, Iraq, Lebanon, and Syria. Which of them have border in Mediterranean Sea? कौन सा है? So this is Jordan, this is Iraq, and this is Lebanon, and this is Syria. And you can see Iraq has no border in Mediterranean Sea. So and Jordan has no border in Mediterranean Sea, whereas Syria and Lebanon have borders in Mediterranean Sea. So what are the countries with border in Mediterranean Sea here? So let's just briefly cover it. From the north you have Turkey, and from here we have Syria. So after Turkey it is Syria, after Syria it is Lebanon. So after Lebanon it is Israel. Okay, and in fact there is part of this Gaza jahan par abhi issue chal raha hai. This is the Gaza, and even they have access to Mediterranean. Okay, so Palestine is not considered as entirely sovereign independent. Okay, this has been going on for a long period of time, we all know that. And this Palestine area includes two parts. One is the West Bank, this is the West Bank, and this is Gaza. Okay, so why it is called as West Bank? Yes, it is the west bank of the river Jordan. This is the Jordan river, uska west bank hai. So Jordan river is there between Israel and Jordan. It is between Israel and Jordan. Okay, so what are the countries here? So Turkey, Syria, Lebanon, and then Israel and Gaza. Okay, the Gaza part has coast in Mediterranean Sea. After that comes Egypt. So this is this peninsula. What is this peninsula? Sinai Peninsula. Okay, so that is the connecting part of Africa and Asia. Okay, it is a Sinai Peninsula, right? So Sinai Peninsula belongs to Egypt. Okay, these are the countries with coast in Mediterranean Sea. What about Jordan? Is it landlocked? Yes, it is not landlocked. It has a very narrow coast in Gulf of Aqaba. So what is this Gulf of Aqaba? Gulf of Aqaba is this small part around this Sinai Peninsula. Towards the east of the Sinai Peninsula we have a small gulf, this is Gulf of Aqaba. In fact it is in this Gulf of Aqaba, so Jordan and Israel both have coast. So basically Israel has access to both Mediterranean Sea as well as Red Sea. And there is no single country in West Asia which is landlocked. Iraq is also having coast in Persian Gulf. Okay, Iraq का भी coast है Persian Gulf में. Okay, it has a very narrow coast in Persian Gulf. Okay, there is no completely landlocked country in West Asia. Is that clear? So we'll try to follow the same approach. So particularly जो जहाँ पर questions आ सकते हैं, so we'll try to elaborate that. And those which are related to current affairs, we don't have to go in detail there. Okay, so in the next year, so there are two more questions in 2017, so we'll come back there. So in the next year there was a question on the same region only. Let's cover that also. 2018 May this question was asked in the same region. Okay, so in 2018 there was issue of ISIS, if you guys remember. So ISIS का वो जो war चल रहा था, so there during that time they had occupied many of these locations, and this was the direct questions asked. So ये जो pattern है, this question. Okay, this is one of the most common pattern which has been repeated in geography locations. World geography में at least 1 or 2 questions ऐसे होता है कि location in use country. Okay, direct location in use in country, and you don't have to match it. You just have to know whether these pairs are correct or not. Matching वाला नहीं है, matching वाला question तो आना बहुत पहले बंद हो गया. Okay, 15-20 साल के पहले आ रहा था matching वाला. तो अभी आएगा तो whether this pair is correctly matched or not. Okay, so whether each of these pairs are correctly matched or not. You don't have to mismatch, मतलब इसका ऐसा इंडू क्रॉस करके नहीं करना है. ठीक है? So now tell me what is the answer here? All of these were the locations which are in use in that year. You don't have to remember for this year. Still, for our understanding, let's go through this. So here two important locations are there. One is Mosul and another one is Kirkuk. Okay, so these two were actually captured by ISIS during that time, and then they were like, फिर उसको वापस भगाया था यहाँ पर. Okay, Mosul and Kirkuk. Let me just show where exactly they are. Iraq. Okay, this is Kirkuk. This is Mosul. कि both are parts of Iraq. Iraq में ये जो region में ही था ना ISIS had occupied this particular part, okay, part of Syria as well as Iraq, and here in Syria we have Aleppo. Okay, so what is the answer here? Aleppo was in Syria. Mosul and Kirkuk, both are wrong. What about Mazar-e-Sharif? Right or wrong? Mazar-e-Sharif. Right होना ही चाहिए क्योंकि one only answer ही नहीं. So that is how you'll get the answer. Mazar-e-Sharif, on that year there was a huge bomb blast in Mazar-e-Sharif in Afghanistan. So 2018 में, before the takeover of Taliban was under suppression, India was doing highway construction. तो उस time में, so even near to that part जहाँ पर highway construction हो रहा था, so that there was this bomb, a very heavy bomb blast हुआ था, उसके context में question है. So answer is 1 and 2. Oh sorry, 1 and 4. Okay, so 2 and 3 is eliminated. अभी elimination का option कम हो गया. ठीक है. So any question related to West Asia, let's just cover that, it will be easier. So this is again a very simple and easy question. 2018. The term two-state solution sometimes mentioned in the news in the context of Israel. Okay, so Israel के ऊपर, Israel, Palestine, West Asia, Mediterranean and ये सारा region के ऊपर multiple times questions have been asked, and this is a direct question on the two-state solution, basically referring to the overall separation of this part. Okay, so ये जो West Bank है and Gaza Strip जो मैंने दिखाया था ना, उसी को ही separate करके अलग सा create करना है ऐसे बोल के suggestion है. ठीक है. So we covered this in 2017. This question was done. So the next question. What is the importance of developing Chabahar port by India? So where is this Chabahar port? कहाँ पर है? तो बताइए, what is the answer for this? What is the importance of developing Chabahar port by India? India's trade with African countries will enormously increase. Okay, first of all, you should know where is this Chabahar port. So here it is, Chabahar. So which is this country? Iran. So now in this part, here, okay, here it is Chabahar port. So India has a very good relationship with the Central Asian countries. There are 5 Central Asian countries. So what are they? Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Kazakhstan. Okay, 5 stans. Okay, and we have good relationship with them, and they also have a good amount of reserves, natural resources. Okay, many of the mineral resources, petroleum, natural gas, बहुत सारा है उनके पास. And unfortunately, we don't have access to them because POK is not in India's control right now. If at all we had POK this part, we would have developed direct road through Afghanistan. Afghanistan तो हमारा दोस्त है ही, तो वहाँ से हम directly ताजिकिस्तान जा सकता था. So there is this narrow corridor where we have access to Afghanistan, right, from here. So we could have directly entered the entire Central Asia. So because of the absence of this access, we use a very long route from here through Iran and then Afghanistan and then the Central Asian countries. Okay, so this is where we have the Chabahar port. So earlier ईरान से तो थोड़ा बहुत एक्सेस मिल गया था, ईरान से डायरेक्टली अफगानिस्तान आ गया, अफगानिस्तान से फिर हम जा रहे थे ऐसे. तो फिर अफगानिस्तान में क्या इशू हुआ था, देयर वर नॉट मच ऑफ गुड रोड. हमने बोला ठीक है हम ही कुछ डेवलप करेंगे, तो पूरा ऐसे गारलैंड रोड बनाया था. ओके, सो यू रिमेंबर गारलैंड रोड. सो पूरा डेवलप किया था हाईवे यहाँ पर, so that we will have better access to the Central Asian countries. and this highway was connected through a network of roadways and railways at Chabahar port. From Chabahar port it is very easy to reach Gujarat Khandla port as well as Mumbai port. Okay, JNPT भी बहुत easily पहुंच सकता है. So with that intention we developed the Chabahar port as well as the roads in Afghanistan. But after the takeover of Taliban, we don't know, we are not sure what would happen in the future. So dekhte hain. So that was the overall intention of developing Chabahar. Okay, so now coming back here, India's trade with African countries will enormously increase. It's not about the trade with African countries. This is wrong. India's relationship with oil-producing Arab countries will be strengthened. This is not about oil-producing Arab countries, क्योंकि वो तो you have to go inside the Persian Gulf or you have to go via the Red Sea. Okay, that is also not there. India will not depend on Pakistan for access to Afghanistan and Central Asia. Maybe Pakistan will facilitate and protect the installation of gas pipeline between Iraq and India. No, वो तो नहीं करेंगे. Answer is C. So those were the only two questions. In 2017 में और कोई क्वेश्चन है? नहीं. ठीक है. So 2018 एक क्वेश्चन तो हमने कवर किया था. And बताइए, which of the following have shrunk immensely or dried up in the recent past due to human activities? One is Aral Sea, second Black Sea, third Lake Baikal. कौन कौन सा? Aral Sea, Black Sea, Lake Baikal. चलो पहले देखते हैं कहाँ पर है अरल सी. Here we have Aral Sea, the same Central Asian countries where we discussed this. Okay, between Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan we have Aral Sea. ठीक है, this is Aral Sea. Aral Sea के बगल में एक और लेक है, Lake Balkhas. This is also an important lake. Okay, so कोशिश करो. So this is Aral Sea. So here it is Black Sea. Between Black Sea and Aral Sea we have the largest lake of the world, that is Caspian Sea. Okay, is Caspian Sea saline or fresh? Saline. Then this is Black Sea. ठीक है, Black Sea के बगल में है Mediterranean Sea. ठीक है. So what about the तीसरा Lake Baikal? So here it is Lake Baikal. Okay, so it's in Siberia, Russia, Siberia. Okay, 3 lakes. So the question is, which of these 3 have either dried up immensely? Okay, so और पूरा dry up हो गया या have shrunk immensely or totally dried up? Okay, so and due to human activities. अरल सी हो सकता है, ठीक है, छोटा सा दिख रहा है, हो सकता है. लेक बैकल भी हो सकता है, वो भी लेक है. ब्लैक सी हो सकता है क्या? ब्लैक सी इज सी. Even though Aral Sea को sea बोलते हैं, it is not a sea, it is a lake. Okay, so Dead Sea is a lake, Caspian Sea is a lake. जो lake है वही dry up हो सकता है. This is a proper sea which is connected with the world ocean. ये dry up नहीं हो सकता है. It is impossible कि Black Sea dry up हो जाए. तो Black Sea eliminate करो. Okay, Black Sea eliminate हो गया, तो 2 option eliminate हो गया. Either 1 only, 1 and 3 only, मतलब Aral Sea तो dry up हो रहा है. Right? Yes. Aral Sea is the one which has dried up immensely in the recent time. देखो यहाँ पर कोई लेक बचा ही नहीं है. It has dried up by more than 90%. Okay, so in the last few years, last 10, 20, 30 years में, more than 90% is totally gone. The Aral Sea. Why? So thanks to the hydropower projects which were implemented during the Soviet Union. Okay, there were many rivers which are coming from the Central Asia. Central Asia is like the water towers of Asia. इसको water towers of Asia बोलते हैं. इसको ये भी बोलते हैं. This is the third pole of the world. There were large number of glaciers here. Okay, the Himalayan, Hindu Kush, Karakoram range and the Pamirs, सारा मिला के बहुत सारा glaciers है. This is the elevated part. From here the rivers goes in all the direction. Okay, तो इस side से भी आता है. तो इस साइड से भी आएगा, इस साइड से भी आएगा, ऐसे नॉर्थ भी जाएगा. There are many rivers which are flowing towards the north, and during the time of Soviet Union it had constructed many hydropower projects. Particularly there are two rivers here, so on which it had constructed hydropower project, and these two rivers are the ones which were actually draining into RLC. It is an inland lake which was fed by the rivers coming from here. Those rivers were blocked. Gradually the water decreased, now more than 90% is dried. What are those rivers? वो भी याद रख लेते. There are two important rivers here. One is Amu Darya, another one is Sir Darya. Okay, coming from this part, they move here and they drain into RLC. इसका पानी कम कर दिया तो RLC dry हो गया. Simple है. More than 90% is dried here. Is that clear? So now comes the Lake Baikal. अगर लेक बाइकल के बारे में थोड़ा भी जानता है तो ये बहुत इजीली आंसर करना, ये भी ड्राई अप इम्पॉसिबल है. It is impossible to dry up the Lake Baikal. Why? This is the deepest lake in the world. Not only deepest, this carries a huge amount of water. It carries more amount of water than any lakes in the world. It is estimated that this lake contains 20% of all the fresh water on the surface of earth. It is a huge rift valley. Okay, it's a huge rift valley, and in this rift valley there is a lake here. The average depth of this entire lake is 800 to 1000 meters. The average depth, and overall it goes for like 800 to 900 kilometers. Okay, so from the top to bottom, this is the deepest. It is the deepest lake and it carries a huge amount of water. ये dry up होना तो बिल्कुल मुश्किल वाला बात है. It is impossible. There was slight variation in the water level, nothing. तो उसके अलावा तो dry up तो नहीं होगा. This is the oldest lake and this is still the clearest lake. सबसे clear water यहाँ पर मिलता है. And in fact during the ice, during the winters it gets totally frozen. The top layer freezes and you can walk on this. People come here to just to visit this lake. You can walk on this and you can see the plants and the life below that. इतना clear water है. ये dry up होना तो impossible है. ठीक है? So the answer is one only. So that was two questions. Okay, there is third question also. Okay, 4, 5. 2018 में तो 5 questions were there from world mapping. ठीक है, ये बताइए. Again, regions in news and the country, most favorite theme. So, Catalonia, Spain, Crimea, Hungary, Mindanao, Philippines, Oromia, Nigeria. What is the answer here? कौन सी रीजन कहाँ पर है ऐसे? इसको हमने लास्ट जो एनालिसिस में भी हमने किया था, तो यही क्वेश्चन मैंने ही डिस्कस किया था. उसके बाद में कैटलोनिया के ऊपर दोबारा क्वेश्चन भी आ गया है. ठीक है, सो दैट इज़ व्हाई आई एम टेलिंग यू, जो ऑप्शंस में दिया है वो दोबारा दूसरे क्वेश्चन में आ सकते हैं, तो क्लोजली देखना. सो कैटलोनिया इज इन स्पेन. इट्स ए पार्ट ऑफ द स्पेन विच इज़ आस्किंग फॉर द सेपरेशन. रेफरेंडम भी हुआ था. दिस इज़ राइट. ठीक है, तो ऑप्शन इज आइदर ए और सी. व्हाट अबाउट क्राइमिया? अभी तक तो बहुत न्यूज़ में आ गया, जिसकी वजह से यूक्रेन का सारा कहानी शुरू हुआ. सो सेकेंड वन इज़ रॉन्ग. ओके, तो इसमें तो ये हट गया. द आंसर इज 1 and 3 ओनली. Mindanao इज इन फिलीपींस. ऑन दैट ईयर इन Mindanao there was a huge war again because of ISIS. Okay, there were few ISIS supporters in Philippines, and there was a huge war between these ISIS forces and the government forces over there. So जिसकी वजह से Mindanao was in news. Okay, so Oromia was not in Nigeria. ठीक है, so location कैटलोनिया एंड मिंडानाओ. मिंडानाओ अभी इट इज़ आउट ऑफ द न्यूज़. क्राइमिया न्यूज़ में है, कैटलोनिया न्यूज़ में है. ये दोनों याद रखो. ओरोमिया भी, तो इट्स नॉट इम्पॉर्टेंट. द आंसर इज 1 and 3 ओनली. Okay, this one we have covered. Yeah. Uday, what is the answer? Very recently, in which of the following countries have lakhs of people either suffered from severe famine, acute malnutrition, or died due to starvation caused by war or ethnic conflict? यमन एंड साउथ सुडान. ये तो तब से चल रहा है ना. तो यमन का हाउदी रेबल्स, वेयर इज यमन? So here it is Yemen. Okay, Houthi rebels have taken over some part of Yemen, and South Sudan is here. So South Sudan का issue अभी भी चल रहा है. Okay, so that would be important for this year. Okay, this is South Sudan. Okay, so as well as the Sudan. Sudan में चलो ठीक है, तो ये बाद में देखते हैं. ठीक है, so overall these two locations have been in news since long time. In 2019, there was only one question from the world mapping part. Sea and the bordering countries. So again, this is one of the themes which you have to remember whether it is in news or not. I told you few important parts of the world you have to remember. Okay, let's make a list of these few important parts of the world. Whether in news or not, you have to remember. कौन सा है? First, West Asia. Okay, West Asia, please cover it thoroughly. All the countries and their surrounding water bodies. You have to know. Second, Central Asia. Central Asia, again, all the countries. Okay, which one borders which one? ये पूरा पता होना चाहिए. Third one, Southeast Asia. Okay, these are the static part. Whether they're in news or not, you have to cover it thoroughly. Southeast Asia. Not only the countries, even the capitals are also important. Okay, you have to remember their capitals and try to remember the order of these capitals from north to south or east to west. Overall location. एक बार क्वेश्चन आ चुका है साउथ ईस्ट एशियन कैपिटल्स के ऊपर. ठीक है. सो आफ्टर दैट द साउथ अमेरिका, द कंट्रीज ऑफ साउथ अमेरिका. And then countries of Africa bordering Indian Ocean and Red Sea. From the perspective of India and the overall trade route of Suez, this is important. And towards the western, so don't worry too much unless if there is something news. बहुत सारा countries है western part of Africa, Central Africa में, सारा याद नहीं रख सकते. Okay, so कोशिश करो जो important area है उसको याद रखने के लिए. And other than that, Europe. Okay, so Europe, those try to remember those which are in news. Okay, so news में जो भी है उसको कोशिश करो. Europe का locations. Okay, so ठीक है. So here it comes, हाँ, Mediterranean Sea का rough idea ले लेना. Mediterranean Sea में जो towards the north कौन सा है, towards the south कौन सा है, Africa में, towards the eastern part of it, around from Asia, what are the countries which are there? So now, countries and their bordering sea and their bordering countries, sorry. The first one, Adriatic Sea, then Black Sea, Caspian Sea, Mediterranean Sea, Red Sea. Okay, so all of these are here only. चलो इसमें तो क्लियर नहीं है. So Adriatic Sea and Black Sea पहले देख लेते. Okay, so this is Mediterranean Sea. Mediterranean Sea तो बहुत easy है याद रखना. So from here we have Spain, France and Italy. 3 countries from Europe on this side. But within Mediterranean Sea, there is a small sea called as Adriatic Sea. And to the next, to this side, we have Italy, and to this side, we have many countries. Earlier, it was a single country, that is Yugoslavia, erstwhile Yugoslavia. Okay, so along with that, there is Greece. Greece is part of both this part as well as Aegean Sea. Okay, this is Aegean Sea, smaller sea. Okay, Aegean Sea के बाद में ये छोटा sea कौन सा है? Sea of Marmara, which separates Europe and Asia, and here comes Black Sea. Okay, so order is Black Sea, Sea of Marmara, Aegean Sea, and then Adriatic Sea, and then rest is Mediterranean Sea. Here in Mediterranean Sea, Italy है और यहाँ पर है erstwhile Yugoslavia. There are a total of 5 countries. Okay, so we have to remember them. A very easy code word is there. BSc MA. Okay, these are the 5 countries which are present in the coast of Adriatic Sea. The code word is BSc MA. BSc के बाद में MA करना पड़ेगा, जो तो मुश्किल है, MA के लिए एंट्री नहीं मिलता है. ठीक है, बट इट इज़ नॉट द ऑर्डर. ऑर्डर ज़रूरी नहीं है, 5 कंट्रीज़ का नाम याद हो गया तो काफ़ी है. ओके, सो B इज़ बॉस्निया, S इज़ स्लोवेनिया, नॉट स्लोवेकिया. स्लोवेकिया तो अंदर है, स्लोवेनिया. ओके, सो C इज़ क्रोएशिया, and M is Montenegro, and A is Albania. Okay, 5 countries, and towards the south of it Greece है. Greece तो पता है यहाँ पर है, दोनों के पार्ट में है, right? So that is what is 5 countries. Is it clear? And let's cover Black Sea also. So any code word for Black Sea? So black means coffee. Coffee is brew. Brew is great. So Bulgaria, Romania, Ukraine, Georgia, Russia, and Turkey. Not Moldova. Moldova is landlocked. उसके ऊपर भी 2009 में एक क्वेश्चन आ चुका है. ओके, तब न्यूज़ में था इसलिए आया है. ओके, सो मोल्डोवा इज लैंडलॉक्ड. इट हैज़ नो कोस्ट इन ब्लैक सी. ठीक है, सो दिस इज ब्लैक सी. एड्रियाटिक सी अल्बेनिया, राइट. ब्लैक सी क्रोएशिया है, क्रोएशिया तो उस तरफ था. कैस्पियन सी कजाकिस्तान. एड्रियाटिक सी इज राइट, ब्लैक सी इज रॉन्ग. कैस्पियन सी कजाकिस्तान है, तो यहाँ से आंसर निकल जाएगा. 2 एलिमिनेट करो, आंसर निकल गया आपका. ठीक है. मेडिटेरेनियन सी, ऑफ कोर्स मोरक्को इज देयर, एंड रेड सी. सीरिया नहीं है, सीरिया तो ऊपर था. ओके, चलो कैस्पियन सी भी कर ही लेते हैं. So there are a total of 5 countries here. Russia, Azerbaijan, Iran, Turkmenistan, Kazakhstan. The code word is crate. और कुछ बता सकते हैं तो बताइए आप. I forgot that. The code word is Tariq. Sorry. Okay, so that is Turkmenistan, Azerbaijan, Russia, Iran and Kazakhstan. ठीक है. सो सीरिया तो मेडिटेरेनियन में है, रेड सी में नहीं है. रेड सी में कौन कौन सा है बता दो. सऊदी अरेबिया, यमन, and from here Djibouti is there in both, and then Eritrea, and then Sudan, Egypt. ठीक है. So in Gulf of Aqaba we have two countries, one is Israel as well as Jordan. So this is another interesting question, 2020. The river and the seas into which it flows. So world के context में rivers कैसे याद रखना है, मतलब at what depth you have to remember. First of all, you have to remember the main area from which a river originates, not the exact location. World level में जो rivers है उसको exact location याद रखने का ज़रूरी नहीं है. However, in India you have to remember the exact location of origin. Okay, but overall, roughly, for example, if at all I am talking about, let's say, Zambezi River. So which part of Africa? Southern part of Africa. Okay, southern part of Africa में origin होगा, तो end कहाँ पर होगा? Indian Ocean में खत्म होगा. Okay, so like this. So roughly, कहाँ पर origin होगा and in which sea it ends? That you have to remember. You don't have to remember all the countries through which it goes through. इतना detail में कभी question नहीं आया है. If it is in news, then you have to remember that. Okay, so world rivers, the important ones, in which part it is there and in which sea it is draining into. इतना काफ़ी है. Indian river तो आपको पता है बहुत डिटेल में होगा. So बताइए Mekong river. Where is Mekong river? Yes, it is one of the most important river of Indo-China. जो साउथ ईस्ट एशिया का mainland part है, it is called as Indo-China. It flows through 6 countries, that is Mekong. So we have Mekong-Ganga cooperation. Okay, it is the same Mekong. Thames, where is Thames? England. ठीक है. Volga, Russia. Zambezi, Zimbabwe, Zambezi. उसी के ऊपर ही है. ठीक है. So let's see. So basically they are asking in which part it drains. Mekong River. Mekong River drains into South China Sea. Okay, it originates from China, flows through all the 5 countries of Southeast Asian mainland. Okay, Southeast Asia में there are total of 5 countries of mainland, 5 countries of island. Right, in these 5 countries it touches all the 5 countries and finally drains into South China Sea. Okay, not into Andaman Sea. Okay, the first one is wrong. So first one हटा दो, you are left with B and C. 3 is common. Okay, so you have to check only 4. Thames will not enter Irish Sea. So I know these elimination method may seem like अभी कर सकते हैं क्या? So 50% questions अभी भी कर सकते हैं. Even if you see the last year pattern, even 50% of the questions they're asking 1 only, 2 only, 3 only ऐसे वाला. तो बाकी तो elimination है, अभी भी है. तो ऐसे पूरा तो उम्मीद नहीं छोड़ना है. But फिर भी तो our target is not just elimination. So we are trying to be more as much as possible perfect to the extent. So this is the Thames River, the very famous Thames River on the banks of which the city of London is located, and it drains into North Sea. Okay, the Thames River drains into North Sea, not the Irish Sea. Okay, Irish Sea is taraf hai. So Volga River, is it Caspian Sea? So Volga River is one of the main important rivers of Russia. Okay, so it originates from this part. यहाँ से originate होता है, तो it flows for a very long distance, flows through this entire part, and finally it drains into Caspian Sea. Okay, so let me give you another information here. So there are 2 important rivers here. Okay, so one is of course Volga. Okay, it comes all the way here and drains into Caspian Sea. So another important river which is coming from this part of Russia is the Don River. Okay, this is Don River, and you can see that both of them come very close but finally drains in opposite direction. The Don River drains into Sea of Azov. Sea of Azov was the part where Ukraine का जो क्राइमिया था उस साइड में, इस साइड में रशिया था, वही यूक्रेन का जो क्राइमिया को तो पकड़ लिया है ना. This is the Don River, important river, and this is the Volga River, and Russia has connected both. It has connected both using a canal called as Don Volga Canal, which it uses to transport ships from Caspian Sea to Sea of Azov to Black Sea to Mediterranean, Mediterranean to Atlantic Ocean. That is how the Caspian Sea is connected to Atlantic Ocean. Okay, the ships enter the Caspian Sea using this Don Volga Canal. Okay? So this is wrong, this is wrong, this is right. मिल गया आंसर. अभी भी है. Zambezi River. The Zambezi River enters Indian Ocean only. The answer is 3 and 4. So where is Zambezi River? So let me show the country's name. So here we have Zimbabwe and Zambia. Between these two we have the Zambezi River. Zambezi River flows and drains into Indian Ocean. So is it a very important river? Yes. It is one of the most important rivers of Africa, because it is on this river only. Okay, first importance, it forms the boundary between Zimbabwe and Zambia. दोनों के बीच में boundary है. Okay, so you can see all this entire boundary is Zambezi River. Second, there is a very beautiful waterfall called as Victoria Waterfalls. Much wider than Niagara. Okay, much bigger than Niagara. Very beautiful waterfall. वही Zambezi River के ऊपर है. And finally it drains into Indian Ocean. ठीक है? Answer is 3 and 4 only. So based on the trend, okay, so there was no direct question on the world mapping part in 2021. 2021 में नहीं था. So in 2020 we had this river related. 2019 there was this sea related. And 2018 is 1 year जहाँ पर आपको बहुत ज़्यादा मिल गया था. And 2021 no question. 2022 on the same pattern as that of Aral Sea. Okay, Aral Sea का same pattern में ये question आया था. Which one of the following lakes of West Africa has become dry and turned into a desert? What is that? Lake Fagubin. Okay, Lake Fagubin. ये तो current related था. And in fact, Indian जो भी न्यूज़ चैनल्स हो गया, न्यूज़पेपर हो गया, उसमें तो आया नहीं था. बहुत मुश्किल था है ना. बट स्टिल यू नो एट द वर्ल्ड लेवल दिस वाज इम्पॉर्टेंट. व्हाई आई टेल यू. ओके, सो यहाँ पर भी नहीं मिलेगा आपको, सो गूगल में ही सर्च करना पड़ेगा. And this is totally from current affairs. It would have been very difficult to guess. So this is Lake Fagubin. It's almost dry up हो रहा है. Like it's like almost dry up हो रहा है. Okay, see the location of this Lake Fagubin. It is very near to a very important river in this western part of Africa. That is Niger. This one. The Niger River. Okay, so I hope you guys know about the Niger River. Niger River comes from this part of western part of Africa. यहाँ से शुरू होता है, very close to Atlantic Ocean, and it flows all the way towards the north, take a total U-turn, and again comes here and finally drains into the Gulf of Guinea in Nigeria. Okay, one of the longest rivers, पूरा U-turn लेके ऐसे आता है. तो इसके पास में है ये लेक, लेक फेगुवियन. ठीक है. And the significance of its this location, this is the Sahel region of Africa. You know the Sahel region? It is the semi-arid region between the Sahara and the southern part. यहाँ पर जो forest area है, इन दोनों के बीच में जो semi-arid area, that is what is Sahel. It is in the same Sahel region we are having the program to construct the world's largest biological structure. Okay, so living structure. So what is that? The Great Green Wall of Africa. So what is this Great Green Wall of Africa? It's an initiative to provide a continuous patch of vegetation from west to east to stop the spreading of this Sahara towards the south. So that's particularly in Sahel region. Sahel region is undergoing drying up, and that is one of the important impact here. यहाँ पर जो lakes है, rivers है, ये थोड़ा बहुत dry up होते जा रहे हैं. This comes in Sahel region only. So that shows the extension, that shows the expansion of Sahara. Sahara expand होते होते तो नीचे आ रहा है ना, उसको रोकने के लिए Great Green Wall Initiative है. So it is in this region entirely पूरा Great Green Wall चल रहा है. तो to tackle the challenges of expansion of the Sahara Desert, and this is also related to that. Okay, dry up हो रहा है. So when it is complete, okay, अभी तो चल रहा है, so it will take a long time before it completes. When it is complete, this will be the longest living structure on the surface of Earth. So what is the longest living structure right now? Great Barrier Reef. ठीक है. So what about this question? Yes. The term Levant, often heard in news, roughly corresponds to which of the following regions? Region along the eastern Mediterranean shores. It's not the entire coastal area of Mediterranean Sea. The regions along the eastern Mediterranean shore, that is near to the Israel. Okay, जो Middle East का जो part है ना, along that Mediterranean region, so that is what is called as the Levant. So in fact, Levant is also a term used for a local wind. Okay, so it's a hot wind, but that wind is in southern Spain. Southern Spain में होता है hot wind, that is Levant. However, this is the Levant referring to the region, okay, of the Mediterranean part. Okay, so this part. So this part is basically Levant. This is what is Levant. So 2022 we have the question on Afghanistan. So Central Asia मैंने बताया था. So one of the most predictable question of this mapping part. So बताइए, what are the countries surrounding Afghanistan? Which of the above have borders with Afghanistan? अजरबैजान नहीं आएगा तो सी मिल जाएगा, बहुत इजी है, एलिमिनेशन से. अगर एलिमिनेशन नहीं है तो कर सकते हो आंसर. 5 countries of Central Asia, but Afghanistan, is it surrounded by 5 countries? In Central Asia there are 5 countries. Is Afghanistan surrounded by 5 countries? ठीक है. So Azerbaijan makes it easy. Azerbaijan is in that part between the West Asia and Russia के बीच में जो Caucasus mountain है उसके पास में है. अफगानिस्तान से बहुत दूर है, उसको एलिमिनेट करो तो आंसर मिल जाएगा. Okay, so let's try to see this. So ये है सेंट्रल एशिया. So I told you there are 5 stans here. What are the 5 stans? Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan and Kazakhstan. The largest one is Kazakhstan. Okay, from the north, ऊपर से पूरा कवर करते हैं. उसके नीचे 4 है. उसको कैसे याद रखें? तो बहुत इजी है. Keep Uzbekistan at the center. Towards the north, Kazakhstan. Towards this side, we have Kyrgyzstan. Here we have Tajikistan. Here, Turkmenistan. ठीक है? Uzbekistan is surrounded by all the 4 plus Afghanistan. Between Turkmenistan and Tajikistan, बीच में अफगानिस्तान आ जाता है. That's why Turkmenistan and Tajikistan are not neighbors. ठीक है? So otherwise, ये दोनों neighbors है, ये दोनों neighbors है, ये दोनों भी neighbors है. क्योंकि पूरा ऐसे surround करते हैं. Uzbekistan is the only other doubly landlocked country. What is a doubly landlocked country? Which is surrounded by landlocked countries. Which is the other doubly landlocked country? Liechtenstein. Okay, so जो यूरोप में है. So Uzbekistan is totally surrounded, but इस side में आते हैं Kazakhstan and Turkmenistan. That is also landlocked because even though they have access to Caspian Sea is lake. Okay, that's why these two are considered to be landlocked. फिर अफगानिस्तान के नीचे है पाकिस्तान. तो इस साइड से है ईरान और इस साइड से इंडिया और इस साइड से चाइना. ओके, सो बेटर है कि मैप से ही दिखाओ, ये तो और कंफ्यूजिंग हो जाएगा आपको. ओके, तो ये 5 तो क्लियर है, राइट? So this is what is Uzbekistan. So here we have Tajikistan and Kyrgyzstan. This is Kazakhstan. This is Turkmenistan. So in between we have Afghanistan. Okay, so Uzbekistan से ये सारा याद हो जाएगा. अभी अफगानिस्तान का करते हैं. So this is Afghanistan. This narrow corridor is important. What is this narrow corridor? ये जो narrow corridor ये कौन सा है? Wakhan corridor. Okay, it is this Wakhan corridor which connects Afghanistan with multiple countries. ठीक है? थोड़ा सा zoom करते हैं. So this is how the Afghanistan is there. यहाँ से तो बहुत क्लियर है. So it has border with तुर्कमेनिस्तान भी है, उज़्बेकिस्तान भी है, तजिकिस्तान है. तो किर्गिस्तान ऊपर है, वो नहीं आएगा. कजाकिस्तान भी नहीं आएगा. यहाँ पर है ईरान and then this is Pakistan. At the same time, in this corridor it has access to India. Okay, so at POK, and then here it has access to China. This is what is Afghanistan. Is that clear? बताइए कौन कौन सा? ईरान, तुर्कमेनिस्तान, उज़्बेकिस्तान, तजिकिस्तान. From here Pakistan, India and China. Which of the above have borders with Afghanistan? Azerbaijan हटा दो. किर्गिस्तान है, नहीं किर्गिस्तान नहीं है, तजिकिस्तान है, तुर्कमेनिस्तान है, उज़्बेकिस्तान है. Answer is 3, 4, 5. Right? So I have included few of the IR related. I have taken the liberty to include this because so I believe all of this can be easily answered using the mapping part, even though they are related to IR. And locations in news, so definitely it is easier to cover. ये हो गया ना? Which of the following statement best reflects the issue with Senkaku Island sometimes mentioned in the news? ये बहुत पहले से ही चल रहा है. Finally UPSC में क्वेश्चन आ गया. So what is that? Senkaku? China and Japan. Okay, it's a disputed island between China and Japan under whose control? Under Japan's control. Okay, so Japan's का ही control में है. Last year it was again in news when Japan renamed this island. Okay, Japan वहाँ पर कोई रहता नहीं है. Okay, so it's a uninhabited island. So but दोनों इसलिए इतना लड़ाई कर रहे हैं कि वहाँ पर बहुत सारा पेट्रोलियम मिलता है. Okay, and the area of fishing zone, and moreover we have the China which is trying to control the entire sea around it. So it has already occupied and major parts of this artificial islands in South China Sea. It is also trying to show dominance in East China Sea, right? So last year this Senkaku island was renamed as Tonoshiro Senkaku. Okay, this is the Senkaku island. So just towards the north of Taiwan. And of course जापान ये मत सोचो यहाँ पर ही खत्म हो रहे, तो यहाँ पर पूरा आइलैंड्स उसी का ही है. देयर इज दिस आइलैंड आर्क हियर. ओके, ryukyu आइलैंड्स, तो वो यहाँ तक आते हैं, तो उसी का ही एक्सटेंशन है. ओके, द आंसर इज बी हियर. So let's take a break and continue after that. Okay, there are a few more questions to cover here. The next question, again the same theme you can see. So this is one of the few questions जहाँ पर actual reason भी पूछा है. Usually reason नहीं पूछता है. Okay, what is the location? In which country? Location country. Usually that is the pattern. And anyway, as per our discussion, तो आप तो एक लाइन लिखा ही होगा why it is in news, है ना, उससे आंसर कर सकते हो, right? So countries important reason for being in news recently. Again, this was relevant in 2022. For 2024 it may not be relevant or it may be relevant. Let's see. Relevant है तो याद रखते हैं. So Chad setting up of permanent military base by China. इसके लिए रफ आइडिया चाहिए. कहाँ पर है Chad? कहाँ पर है? अफ्रीका. Which part of Africa? यहाँ पर है Chad. ठीक है. So रफ आइडिया थोड़ा बहुत चाहिए. Chad न्यूज़ में था तो थोड़ा बहुत रफ आइडिया. However, this was a wrong statement. Logically भी देखते हैं. The question is, the statement is China is planning to set up a military base here. Okay, so setting up permanent military base by China. तो अगर इसके ऊपर डिपेंडेंट है तो लेट्स से यू आर टेकिंग ए गेस. सो हाउ डू यू थिंक अबाउट दिस? सो चाइना कहाँ कहाँ पर मिलिट्री बेस बना रहे? कोस्टल रीजन में बना रहे, या बाय लैंड है तो यूजुअली नेबर्स होंगे, सराउंडिंग एरिया में होंगे. अफ्रीका के इतने अंदर जाके यहाँ पर अंदर कोस्टल मतलब इतना अंदर परमानेंट मिलिट्री बेस क्यों बनाएंगे? चांसेस थोड़ा सा कम है, तो यहाँ पर हम गेस मार सकते हैं. अगर बनाएंगे तो कोस्टल एरिया में बनाएंगे. जो भी बनाए हैं तो वट एवर यू हैव सीन इन न्यूज़, मोस्ट ऑफ दीज आर रिलेटेड टू द कोस्टल लोकेशंस ओनली. ओके, वेदर इट इज़ द ग्वादर पोर्ट, ओके, सो और श्रीलंका का हो गया, तो बांग्लादेश का हो गया, तो जो हमारा स्ट्रिंग ऑफ पर्ल थियरी था ना, सो और इट इज़ टॉकिंग अबाउट द पैसिफिक आइलैंड्स. इट इज़ ट्राइंग टू डेवलप द कंट्रोल ओवर द सी. सो इट इज़ a lesser chance that it may develop a military base inside the landlocked country. वो भी सहारा के अंदर जाके क्यों बनाएंगे? So that was a wrong statement. Setting up a permanent military base by China, that was wrong statement. ठीक है. In fact, it was trying to set up a military base in Equatorial Guinea. यहाँ पर एक छोटा सा कंट्री है Equatorial Guinea. Okay, this is what is Gulf of Guinea. So this is Equatorial Guinea. तो यहाँ पर जाके उनका बनाने का प्लान चल रहा था, तो उसी के कंटेक्स्ट में न्यूज़ में था, ठीक है। अदरवाइज द अदर 3 स्टेटमेंट्स वर करेक्ट. Here again they are not going to detail, all of these were current related. अभी ज़रूरी नहीं है, ओके अभी ज़रूरी होगा शायद लेबनान, ओके बाकी दो तो उस टाइम का ही न्यूज़ था. लेबनान का जो इकोनॉमिक क्राइसिस डिप्रेशन तो चल ही रहा था, तो तब से चल रहा था उनके, अब तो कुछ रिवाइवल प्लान भी हुआ था, दैट्स व्हाई इट वाज इन न्यूज़. एंड गिनिया सस्पेंशन ऑफ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन एंड गवर्नेंस बाय मिलिट्री, वेयर इज गिनिया, ये इक्वेटोरियल गिनिया है, सो गिनिया यहाँ पर है, ओके दिस इज गिनिया, दिस इज इक्वेटोरियल गिनिया. So Equatorial Guinea was in news. You would not have heard about it unless it was in news. ये सारा ऐसे वाला countries है. But news में जो भी होगा, you would have read where is located, why it is in news. So उससे हो जाएगा. Lebanon, it was in news. Tunisia, suspension of parliament by the president, that was also in news. Where is Tunisia? यहाँ पर है Tunisia. So between Algeria and Libya, so it's a Mediterranean. Okay, Mediterranean coast में located है Tunisia. Okay, so एक और simple सा code word बताता हूँ, देखो. 5 countries of Africa towards Mediterranean. Okay, 5 countries of Africa towards Mediterranean. The code word is MATL. MATLE. Morocco तो पता ही है. Morocco is located along the Strait of Gibraltar. On the other side Spain and this side Morocco. Okay, then Algeria, the heart of Sahara. Okay, so then Tunisia, then Libya, हमारा गद्दाफी का, फिर Egypt. तो ये तो पता है मम्मी इसके लिए, ठीक है. So these are the 5 countries which are surrounding the Mediterranean Sea. ठीक है, it is the same Tunisia which was in news. ठीक है, the answer is correctly matched is 3 pairs. 3 pairs were correctly matched. Chad was, this was wrong, that was Equatorial Guinea. So this was right, this was right, this was right. तीनों right था. So next. So region mentioned country दोबारा हमारा ट्रेंड में आ गया. तो अनातोलिया, टर्की, वेयर इज अनातोलिया? Anatolia is basically the part of Turkey only. This entire part of Turkey towards this northern part of Turkey is, that is what is Anatolia. It's called as the Anatolia Plateau. Okay, you can see physical map थोड़ा बहुत scan कर लिया तो आपको मिल जाता है. This is the Anatolia Plateau. In terms of plates also, it's a minor plate, Anatolia Plate, which is actually colliding with this Arabian Plate, जिसकी वजह से टर्की में earthquake आया था, one of the severe earthquakes of the recent times. Okay, that was due to this Anatolia. Okay, so that's in Turkey. What about Amara? Amara, it's in Ethiopia. That was also in news. So Amara is a region where Amara people were there. जो Tigray का news में था ना, Tigray भी question में आ गया, ये भी आ गया. Okay, so Amara was in news. It's a region in Ethiopia. It was in news. Okay, so if you want to show Amara, I'll show. So maybe this is important because you know some of these parts of Africa and West Asia, the overall conflicts go for a longer period of time. This is what is the region of Amara. तो यहाँ पर जो northern part में है, तो इस corner में है Tigray. Okay, that was one of the most expected question. तो question आ भी गया. So Amara, Ethiopia. Cabo Delgado, Mozambique. Okay, so it's Mozambique, not Spain, and in fact Catalonia was in Spain, वो दे दिया Italy. Catalonia repeat हुआ था. Catalonia was part of the Spain which was looking for separation. Okay, so Cabo Delgado was wrong, and Catalonia was wrong. Anatolia and Amara are right. The answer is only 2 pairs. So that was about the questions of 2023. 2023 का एक बार count करते हैं. World mapping part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think the highest. 6 questions from the world mapping part, and so some overlapping between IR. 2023 also there were good number of questions from world mapping, and again overlapping with IR. A total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 questions again. So let's hope the trend continues, and हम थोड़ा सा मेहनत करके जाएंगे इस बार. ठीक है. So बताइए इसका आंसर क्या है? About 3/4 of the world's cobalt, a metal required for the manufacture of batteries for electric motor vehicles, is produced by. News में था. For both the reason, one is cobalt is a very valuable, very important mineral which is required for the e-mobility. Batteries में use होता है, तो वो 50% से ज़्यादा रिजर्व्स दुनिया में इसी कंट्री में है, एंड 70% से ज़्यादा प्रोडक्शन अभी इसी कंट्री से आ रहा है. दैट इज DRC, डेमोक्रेटिक रिपब्लिक ऑफ कॉन्गो. दिस इज द फर्स्ट रीजन दिस वाज इन न्यूज़. सेकंड, it was also alleged that they are not using sound methods of extraction. Okay, environmentally भी clean नहीं है, और there were allegations of usage of child labor for this. तो इसके context में news में था. तो this could have been predicted. मतलब इतना मतलब world mapping location करते समय तो देखना पड़ेगा. And it is not even the location based, it's a total country. कौन सी country से आ रहा है ये तो बता दो, तो it's easy. Where is DRC? Africa, the heart of Congo Basin. This is what is Democratic Republic of Congo. पूरा इक्वेटोरियल रेन फॉरेस्ट है जो कॉन्गो बेसिन है, that is what is DRC. The answer is C. So next, which one of the following is part of Congo Basin? दोबारा क्वेश्चन आ गया कॉन्गो बेसिन का. देखो कॉन्गो बेसिन में कौन कौन सा है? कैमरून, नाइजीरिया, साउथ सुडान, उगांडा. बताइए कौन सा है कॉन्गो बेसिन में? What is this कॉन्गो बेसिन? जैसे अमेजॉन बेसिन है, okay, so it's the basin of the Congo river, and this is the river which is very near to the equator, and in fact this Congo river crosses equator twice. एक बार ऊपर जाता है फिर दोबारा नीचे आता है. Okay, so and the location is such that the rainfall received is one of the heaviest in the entire world. Okay, the way Amazon carries a huge amount of water, Congo river also carries a very high amount of water. Around this entire Congo basin we have one of the richest diversity of life. So due to the presence of evergreen rainforests, tropical evergreen rainforest, that is Congo basin. तो इस रीजन में कौन कौन सा है? चलो कैमरून कहाँ पर है? शायद ठीक है, अराउंड वहाँ पर ही हो सकते हैं. व्हाट अबाउट नाइजीरिया? वहाँ पर है, पास में है. नाइजीरिया दूर है. हमने नाइजर रिवर देखा था, वो उल्टा मुड़ के आके ऐसे यहाँ पर डेल्टा बना रहा था. इट इज़ स्लाइटली टुवर्ड्स द नॉर्थ ऑफ इट, स्लाइटली टुवर्ड्स द नॉर्थ ऑफ इट. कॉन्गो बेसिन से थोड़ा सा दूर है. साउथ सूडान तो पूरा ड्राई है, यहाँ पर तो एवरग्रीन फॉरेस्ट नहीं आएगा, थोड़ा सा और ऊपर है. उगांडा शायद हो सकते हैं. चलो लेट्स सी. उगांडा और कैमरून में डाउट है. So this is Uganda, this is Cameroon. If you see the proper overall satellite imagery भी देखा तो आपको जो डार्क ग्रीन कलर दिख रहा है, that is the Congo Basin, equatorial rainforest, and that is Cameroon. Uganda थोड़ा सा उस तरफ आ जाएगा, and that is also the region where you start to see this East African Rift Valley. Okay, so Congo Basin का जो proper basin है इस साइड से आएगा. So this what is Congo River. Okay, Congo River देखो ऐसे ऐसे जाएगा, फिर U-turn लेके ऐसे आएगा. It flows like this. So this entire basin where it is made up of multiple rivers, channels, all of this is what is Congo Basin. तो उगांडा थोड़ा सा उस तरफ में. Okay, so very close, but ठीक है. तो अगर दो ऑप्शन में बचाए तो आप किस मार ही सकते हो. रीजन्स इन न्यूज़. अगेन रीजन, इस बार भी रीजन वाले एक क्वेश्चन आ गया, लास्ट टाइम भी था. सो दिस टाइम ऑल्सो देयर इज अ क्वेश्चन, एंड हाँ दिस वन यू कैन से ओवरलैपिंग बिटवीन जियोग्राफी एंड IR. सो हियर नॉर्थ किवू एंड इटोरी. कहाँ पर है नॉर्थ किवू एंड इटोरी? सुना है? चलो ठीक है. देख, नगोर्नो काराबाख, दैट वाज एक्चुअली मैच्ड यहाँ पर. वॉर बिटवीन आर्मेनिया एंड अजरबैजान वाज फॉर नगोर्नो कराबाख. ठीक है, अगर ये यहाँ पर है तो ये भी गलत है. ठीक है, ये भी गलत है. इनफैक्ट नॉर्थ किवो एंड इटोरी आर इन डीआरसी ओनली. न्यूज़ में था. Okay, so last year it was in news for some conflict, so that was it was asked. Nagorno-Karabakh was in news like last 2-3 years. So what is this Nagorno-Karabakh? So Nagorno-Karabakh is this region, यहाँ पर जो region है between Armenia and Azerbaijan. So this is the region inside Azerbaijan. Okay, Nagorno-Karabakh is a region inside Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan is largely dominated by Islamic community and Armenia is largely dominated by Christian community. तो जब Soviet Union disintegrate हुआ था, this was made as separate countries. And during that, even though Nagorno-Karabakh was Christian dominated, it was included as part of Azerbaijan. तब से उनका separation का चल रहा है. So recently they wanted separation and they took the support of this Armenia. तो फिर आर्मेनिया अजरबैजान दोनों के बीच में लड़ाई शुरू हो गया था. फिर दोबारा रशिया आके दोनों को चुप करवाया था. So that was Nagorno-Karabakh. ठीक है. So it was in totally news based. And Kherson and Zaporizhia, ये कहाँ पर है? ये सारा जो भी वर्ल्ड लोकेशन जो न्यूज़ में है ना, तो आई डोंट नो इफ एनी ऑफ यू हैड सीन, तो लास्ट ईयर का जो हमारा मैपिंग क्लासेस हुआ था उसमें पूरा हमने कवर किया था. लेकिन मेनी क्वेश्चंस केम डायरेक्टली एंड दिस इज वन ऑफ देम. खेरसन, ज़ैपोरिज़िया, दीज आर द लोकेशंस रिलेटेड टू यूक्रेन का जो वॉर चल रहा था दैट टाइम. दीज वर द लोकेशन विच वर डायरेक्टली अंडर न्यूज़. ओके, दिस इज यूक्रेन. सो ऑल द 3 आर रॉन्ग. द आंसर इज नन. ठीक है. एंड नॉट ओनली दिस, ये वाला क्वेश्चन भी देखो आप, उसके नीचे वाला. सो वेयर इज डॉनबास? अगेन यूक्रेन. Okay, Donbass was in Ukraine. That was not Syria. This is wrong. What about Kachin? Where is Kachin? सुना है? Kachin state, Myanmar. Okay, so यहाँ पर भी local issue हुआ था. There was some local unrest or some government forces के army के जो कुछ violence था. So that was in news. Okay, so Donbass was Ukraine, Kachin was Myanmar, and Tigray, Ethiopia. Okay, so most predicted था तो Tigray. So that was Ethiopia. Again, the answer is none. ठीक है, so you want me to show this? So Donbass, Kachin and Tigray. Okay, Tigray तो वहीं पे है, तो यही region जो Tigray is important. Again, a question may come. Okay, this was Tigray. Okay, Ethiopia, along Eritrea and Ethiopia border. Donbass. Donbass, the region, entire region is known for good reserves of iron. Okay, so iron coal का reserves है, तो यहाँ पर बहुत सारा steel plants भी establish हुआ है. Donbass, Donetsk and Kachin state. So this was Kachin. So all of this directly news से ही है. You know it, you can answer it. So you just have to remember कहाँ पर है, why it is in news. So next, how many of the above mentioned countries have land border with Ukraine? Directly आ गया Ukraine, देखो. चलो इसको एक बार कवर कर ही लेते. यूक्रेन का इश्यू अभी भी चल ही रहा है, so क्या पता इस बार भी आ जाए. In a different way at least. What are the countries bordering Ukraine? रशिया है. So from the western side, it's Russia, of course. Sorry, eastern side. Okay, this is Russia. यहाँ पर था Crimea occupied by Russia, and towards the north we have Belarus. Okay, Belarus was also a country of Soviet Union. Soviet Union का ही part था, फिर separate हो गया. फिर यहाँ पर है Poland, right? So Poland directly Poland से तो it had access to the Baltic Sea, right? From here Moldova, I told you about Moldova. Moldova is totally landlocked. Okay, it is landlocked between Ukraine and Romania. Ukraine Romania के बीच में landlocked है. UPSC में Moldova के बारे में क्वेश्चन आ चुका है. तो रोमानिया है तो रोमानिया बगल में ही है, तो यू कैन सी रोमानिया इज देयर. एंड अमॉन्ग दिस ईस्ट यूरोपियन कंट्रीज, ओके, बहुत सारा कंट्रीज है. यहाँ से दो कंट्री आते हैं, एक है स्लोवेकिया, दूसरा हंगेरी, राइट? सो दीज आर द टू कंट्रीज, याद रहेगा. सो ऑब्वियसली रशिया तो है, रशिया के बगल में बेलारस एंड देन पोलैंड. पोलैंड से आप याद रख सकते हो, यू कैन डायरेक्टली एंटर बाल्टिक सी. एंड मोल्डोवा इज लैंडलॉक्ड होगा, रोमानिया होगा, एंड यहाँ पर स्लोवेकिया, Czechoslovakia, Czech Republic and Slovakia. Czech उस तरफ है, Slovakia इस तरफ है, and then we have Hungary. So now tell me what are the countries? So do we have Bulgaria? No, Bulgaria तो नहीं था. Czech Republic? No. Hungary? Yes. Latvia? Latvia तो ऊपर है. Latvia is the one of the Baltic, है ना? Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia. So लातविया भी नहीं है, लिथुआनिया भी नहीं है, रोमानिया है. Only two. So all of this, it's not that easy to do it, I know. So but you have to start picturizing it and try to recollect and revise multiple times. तो थोड़ा बहुत तो लक भी है, तो ऐसे सारा पता तो नहीं होगा, एक दो तो मिस होगा. So थोड़ा बहुत लॉजिकली कंक्लूड करके आंसर निकालना ही पड़ेगा. So but Ukraine, it was in news, it should have been done. ठीक है. सो ये तो easy है, it's not that difficult. Which one of the following countries have been suffering from decades of civil strife and food shortage and was in news in the recent part for its very severe famine? चारों में सबसे जो इस दिक्कत जिनका चल रहा है वही मार्क कर दो, वही है हमारा सोमालिया. ओके, सो उनका तो इशू बहुत पहले से चल रहे, सो जो भी इशू ले लो सब मिल जाएगा. तो फूड शॉर्टेज, सिविल स्ट्राइक, पायरेसी, सो ऑल ऑफ दिस, है ना? सो दैट इज सोमालिया. सो इट वाज इन न्यूज़. सो दैट कवर्स द वर्ल्ड मैपिंग पार्ट. सो शैल वी कवर फॉर सम मोर टाइम? इंडिया मैपिंग कवर करें? ओके, क्विकली. So let's see how many questions are there in India mapping. Okay, so 19 questions will take more time. So let's take a smaller one. Okay, let's take this part, Earth, solar system and universe. Let's quickly finish this. Okay, so I'll share this list of questions with you guys. I have segregated this topic wise, you can use it. Okay. So this is like the first part of the world's physical geography. Okay, before you go through this details of geomorphology, climatology, oceanography, biogeography, you have to understand the basics related to this. So there comes this unit of Earth, solar system and universe. Traditionally not considered to be the part of traditional geography. So many of the times you tend to skip this, but it is very much necessary that you have to be clear about these basic details. Okay, prelims में बहुत सारा questions आए हैं, particularly the questions related to the solar system. Okay, solar system, different planetary bodies and all. ठीक है. So and seasons, वे favorite area, 3 बार question आ चुका है in the last 10 years itself. ठीक है. So let's just go through this. The first question. 2019 we had one question here. On 21st June the sun, the position of sun, बताइए कहाँ पर रहेगा on 21st June? Does not set below the horizon at Arctic Circle, does not set below the horizon at Antarctic Circle, shines vertically over at noon at the equator, on the equator, shines vertically over at the Tropic of Capricorn. Chalo, let me just clear this. So we have overall the different latitudes. So let's say this is equator, this is Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. Okay, so and let's say this is Arctic Circle and this is Antarctic Circle. Okay. So you know the 90-degree sunlight, that is the overhead sun's position maximum varies between these two. Okay, this is 0, this is Tropic of this 23.5 degree north, this 23.5 south, this 66.5 north and 66.5 south. Sun's 90-degree sunlight is always between here. When the sun's vertical sun rays are falling here, what is the date here? It is either March 21st or September 23rd. That is 2 equinox. Okay, so spring equinox, autumnal equinox, sun is exactly located here. From March 21st, the sun's position starts to shift towards the north and reaches the maximum of Tropic of Cancer by June 21st. By June 21st, it will come here and it will start to come back by September 23rd, it is back at the equator, and again by 22nd December, it is at Tropic of Capricorn. Okay, this is the position of sun. So when the sun's position is here, when the sun's position is here, June 21st hai. At this point of time, the entire Arctic Circle is illuminated by the sun's light. There is no sunset at the regions beyond the entire Arctic Circle. That is what is polar day. When the sun's position is here, the entire Antarctic Circle is totally under darkness. यहाँ तक sunlight पहुँचेगा ही नहीं, क्योंकि this is the maximum position. Sunlight, ये इसको imagine ऐसे करना है. When you tilt it like this, the sunlight reaches till this point, and the last sunlight here is only here. So that is why this is totally day and this is totally night. Opposite is when the sun is here. When the sun's vertical sun rays is here, the last sunlight is reaching only till here, and beyond that it is totally dark. Okay, when it is here, the last sunlight reaches till this point and this entire region is illuminated. So that is the polar day here, right? This is the basics. Now come back here. On 21st of June, matlab, the sun's position is at Tropic of Cancer. The sun does not set below the horizon at Arctic Circle. What do you mean by that? All the region beyond the Arctic Circle is totally illuminated. It will not set below the horizon. Okay, it may be. It does not set below the horizon at Antarctic Circle. Is that right? Wrong. Tab to polar night chalta hai, totally darkness. This is wrong. And shines vertically overhead at noon at equator. No, it is shining vertically at Tropic of Cancer. Shines vertically overhead at Tropic of Capricorn. ये भी गलत है. The answer is A. Right? Does not set below the horizon at Arctic Circle. Is that clear? ऐसे वाला 2 और क्वेश्चन आ चुका है. ओके, एक और पुराना था और एक आगे है. Okay, so ये 2022 में क्वेश्चन देखो. Same. In the northern hemisphere, the longest day of the year normally occurs. When is the longest day? Longest day कब होगा? When the sun is shining vertically, मतलब sun's position is maximum, यहाँ तक पहुँच गया. So when you tilt this entire part and you imagine the rotation, you will see the maximum day. The length of the day increases from equator towards the Arctic Circle. Beyond Arctic Circle, it is 24 hours. Okay, so at equator it is 12 hours. From 12 hours it is becoming 24 hours. That is achieved when there is a maximum tilt, that is on 21st of June. Answer is second half of the month of June, that is 21st of June. ठीक है, 2 क्वेश्चन देखो. एक और क्वेश्चन भी है तो 17 से पुराना है. So what about this? Which one of the following is the reason why astronomical distance is measured in light years? What is light year? The distance traveled by light in 1 year. Remember, it is the measure of distance, not the time. And it is the distance traveled by light in 1 year. What is the speed? 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. And that is constant. It is because of this we use it for measuring the distance. The speed of light is always same. राइट. व्हाट आर द अदर ऑप्शंस? डिस्टेंस अमंग द स्टेलर बॉडीज डू नॉट चेंज. वो तो चेंज होगा. क्यों चेंज होगा? बिकॉज ऑफ बिग बैंग, एक्सपेंशन ऑफ यूनिवर्स. राइट. ग्रेविटी ऑफ स्टेलर बॉडीज डज नॉट चेंज. वो भी तो चेंज होगा ऑब्वियसली. लाइट ऑलवेज ट्रेवल्स इन स्ट्रेट लाइन. नो, है ना. अभी हम ये सब देख रहे हैं, ग्रेविटेशनल लेंसिंग. Okay, so and there are many such phenomena which is observed. We cannot say so. Even if it is true, that is not the reason why we measure the distance. Okay, तो उसके बारे में सोचने का भी ज़रूरी नहीं है. We measure it because the speed of light is always constant. Answer is D. Okay, the fourth question of this part was again 2022. 2022 में दो क्वेश्चन था. Solar flares. सोलर फ्लेयर्स के बारे में रिसेंटली भी न्यूज़ में है, तो जस्ट गो थ्रू दैट. व्हाट इज सोलर फ्लेयर? सोलर फ्लेयर क्या होता है? द सडन आउटबर्स्ट ऑफ द हॉट स्टॉर्म्स ऑफ एटम. ओके, सो यू मस्ट हैव सीन लाइक दिस. सन के ऐसे 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 फिगर्स बनाते हैं. ओके, द सडन आउटबर्स्ट कम्स आउट फ्रॉम द सन. दैट इज व्हाट इज सोलर फ्लेयर्स. So these solar flares contains, some of them contains charged particles, some of them contains hot atoms. If they reach the earth, which of the following are the possible effects on the earth? Okay, so what exactly these solar flares? There is like charged particles, high energy हो सकते हैं, so magnetically charged हो सकते हैं, electrically charged हो सकते हैं, बस और कुछ तो नहीं होगा इसके अंदर. GPS and navigation system could fail. Possible है? Is it possible? ठीक है, पॉसिबल है, देखते हैं. पॉसिबल है नहीं है वो बाद में देखते हैं. चांसेस है. सुनामीज कुड अकर एट द इक्वेटोरियल रीजन्स. ये बताइए, सुनामी हो सकते हैं? सो व्हाट इज द रीजन बिहाइंड द फॉर्मेशन ऑफ सुनामी? अर्थक्वेक. अंडर वाटर अर्थक्वेक होना चाहिए. द एंटायर वाटर कॉलम शुड गेट डिस्प्लेस्ड. इट कैन बी अर्थक्वेक, इट कैन बी वॉल्केनिक एरप्शन, इट कैन बी लैंडस्लाइड, लैंड सबसिडेंस और ए मीटियोराइटिक इम्पैक्ट और ए न्यूक्लियर एक्सप्लोजन. नॉट बाय सोलर स्टॉर्म. Okay, so सेकेंड तो नहीं है, इसको एलिमिनेट करके देखें. अगर एलिमिनेशन का चांस है तो इमीडिएटली मौका लेना है. सेकेंड इज रॉन्ग. यू गॉट योर आंसर. लोग इतना 7 स्टेटमेंट देख के डर जाते हैं और पढ़ते भी नहीं है. चलो इसको बाद में पढ़ते हैं. You got the answer immediately by reading 1 or 2 statement. वो भी बहुत आसान से eliminate हो गया. Right? The answer is C. GPS and navigation system could fail. Why? It will interfere with the Earth's magnetic field. Okay, Earth's magnetic field से interfere हो सकते हैं. Some of the charged particles may enter the lower part of the atmosphere. That may cause disturbance. Communication में disturbance हो सकता है. Power grids could be damaged again because of the same. Okay, interference in that. Intense auroras could occur. Yes, definitely. Auroras are these colorful lights which are observed near to the poles, North Pole and South Pole. Aurora borealis, aurora australis. Okay, these auroras are the colorful lights released due to the interaction of these charged particles from the sun in the Earth's atmosphere. Normally magnetic field उसको deflect कर देता है, तो अगर बहुत ज़्यादा आ गया तो शायद some more will enter and it may cause more intense auroras. Okay, so ये भी सही है, ये भी सही है. So forest fire could take place. Forest fire? Oh, come on, no. Forest fire तो नहीं होगा. So it's just the solar charged particles. Orbits of the satellite could be disturbed. Yes, satellite orbit तो disturb हो सकता है. So that is how these communication may get disturbed. Shortwave radio communication of the aircraft flying over polar region could be interrupted because polar regions में और ज़्यादा आ सकता है because the magnetic field lines are straight over there. So that may cause disruption. Okay, the answer is C. ठीक है, चलो. So we have covered the major part actually. जो analysis है, that is the most important part. So I hope so that has been helpful, and we will have another session, part 2, the date of which will be informed soon. Okay, so that will be in tomorrow's session is a different subject, and the second part will be informed soon through our communication channel. Okay, so in that we will cover the rest of it, and if you have any doubts, please bring it. We can have a discussion then. ठीक है.